And we're in business.
That's it, right?
That's it.
That's it.
Simple
I mean,
as
that's
that.
as easy as it is. You get up on it, and that's it.
I just got to sit like this.
See how good you sound?
That's
Yeah,
it.
you
And now-
can hear the difference.
Yeah, it's a big
Oh
difference.
my God.
So now if you start to
What do I got to?
no,
No,
yeah,
just
it's
chill
good.
it.
So if you start to like shift up and down at all, or just move
Just
it,
keep moving it.
yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
We got it. We got it. You know, on its own articulating mount.
I like this.
That's how we.
I like
that's
this
how
a
we
lot.
work.
This is good.
Yeah, it's nice.
All right.
I want to get eventually when we move to a bigger space at some point. I'd like to get the arms because I feel like that would put the look
Just-
over tenfold.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
I
like
mean,
that a lot.
We finally got glasses, so we're one step at a time.
You serve drinks. You could get a
know.
bartender for the whole thing.
I might have,
Well,
you know,
that's Kenji's job.
yeah, that's
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 Kenji's.
usually
Kenji's job. We
Just
get him a
training
little
the
maid
dog.
outfit.
Training the dog, yeah.
he's in a food coma right now.
Bartender.
Yeah.
Bartender.
He's in a food coma. He had his 8 ounces of duck, and he had his 4 ounces of mackerel.
Is
Sounds
this
like
his
me.
daily? Is this yeah?
Pretty
this is
much.
working out. Is this
Yeah.
his daily meal?
Yeah, that's one of his. That's his snack for the midday.
I guess my dog is not doing so well.
No.
Your dog would be a snack.
Yes, yes.
A
My little dachshund.
That's adorable. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cheap to feed him raw, him or her.
Her.
Her. It'd be,
No,
it'd be,
it's him. That's a him. I'm
Okay.
just kidding. No.
He's
All the
he's
her and him
kind-
thing going
He's just
back
kind
and
of a
forth.
bitch.
Yeah. He's like a little bit of a girl.
You know what? The dachshund doesn't really know what it is yet,
No,
so I'm gonna wait
he's-
and figure it
Oh,
out.
You know
yeah.
what? He's still peeing sitting down, so I don't know exactly what he
But
is.
my dog
really.
does that too.
Yeah, I don't know that he's a boy necessarily.
That's okay.
Yeah, he's confused.
Yeah, it's
That's
okay.
fine,
We
though.
accept him for
That's
who he
all right.
is.
Yes, he's just
You
himself.
didn't put him in a little dress as he was getting older.
Yes.
I
You
do
know
want to
what?
dress Kenji up. I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely gonna get him a Halloween
You
outfit.
need to get him a lion's mane.
I do, and just
You
scare
should.
people.
That would be good. Just let him run.
Yeah.
To
Run
attack.
af-
Just start
run
throwing
after
the
kids.
flounder down the street.
Yeah.
Flounder for everyone.
Leave
When
it in some kid's trick or treat box.
Yeah.
Just go at it.
Throw fish. Yeah.
When I brought him to VMI today, the one of the girls that works there, I walk in. You know, Tom met him yesterday, and I walk into the supplement area, and she's sitting there. She goes, "Oh my God, this is the puppy." I said, "Yeah, he's humongous now." She goes, "Can I say hi to him?" I said, "Yeah." When I tell people to say hi to him, I have to remind them the proper way to say hi to a dog, especially one that's a dominant dog like this, any type of a guard dog, quote unquote. You gotta just give him a fist, let him smell you, and then when his little tail's going and he's excited to see you, scratch him under the neck. Because too many people go right for that head pat and he pulls away. He gets freaked out. So
Dog has his own language.
Listen,
His own bodyguard.
listen.
Don't pet the dog. That would give him a fist bump. I thought you were going to say first.
You gotta
And
dap him
then-
up New York style.
Yeah, and then
Give him
let
a-
him
give him
go,
a
let him go.
soo-woo, you know?
And then
He's got to know you're not from
this is
Jersey.
a very special dog. This is a very special dog.
I tried. Listen, I
He's
tried
just getting warmed up.
because there's
yeah.
been people that have just gone shot right into like, oh my God, he's so cute. They shoot right in, and he gets
That's the
started
same thing
and,
I do.
and
They
starts
go,
and
look
starts.
at those tattoos, and you're like, oh,
Oh God, whoa,
Calm down.
whoa,
calm down with the
I'll-
touching.
I'll go over them with you.
Let me
All right?
show you.
If you really want to ask and see the gains, I'll show you.
Yes, don't touch, don't touch. Same mentality.
So basically that's I had to, and she goes, he's a little intimidating when he's just looking at you. I go, yeah. I said he's a sweet dog. You just gotta give him a second to warm up to you, and then he's your best friend. Now he jumps in John's arms every time he sees
Okay,
him.
it's so funny.
That's it. He knows.
Yeah, but I grew up with him a little bit.
You did.
Yes, I saw him a bit with my dog Archer. We always took him to the dog park back and forth. And they were running around.
These dogs are living their best life.
They really are.
They really are.
He's my assistant in here. I tell him I bring him to most of my meetings.
Teach him how to serve drinks.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's it,
all
and
right.
then we're good.
That's it. He's a service dog. He's a bartender dog.
I want to get him the little service
Yeah,
jacket,
that's it.
but I don't even listen to it right now. I just bring him into Home Depot and stuff like that. The staff's like, I don't know if he's supposed to be in here. I go, well, I'm wearing a mask, so we're all right.
That's it. My dog
Let's
is a
see what
service dog. He's already.
So
he's
what?
good to
Now,
go.
what was that? You just got the paperwork done, and
I had to send my
Your stuff
my
in.
personal medical information into the worldwide, service dog registry, and then he had to go to school.
cool.
He's basically the worst service dog I've ever had. This is the only dog you bring it to me, he takes it away. It's not happening. It's not for him.
Get me a drink.
He's like, no.
Oh, me
no.
a drink, right?
I'm
No,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
he takes the sock and leaves with it. He doesn't actually bring it back to you. It's just not for him. He doesn't know if he's male, female. He's not a service dog.
That's
He's a
all
mess.
right.
Dog is a mess.
As long as he's a great companion.
He's a great companion. That's it. He's a companion dog.
Awesome. So now, obviously, this is the first time that we're meeting.
We are.
We have not met before. John knows you through the gym,
Yes.
and he explained a little bit of your. I don't want to call it a situation, but just
It's a
what
situation.
you've
It
gone
is.
through.
It is. Yes.
Yeah,
It's a story.
I want to. I always try to be,
Don't be delicate.
not necessarily
Yeah,
delicate,
no,
but
we don't need
I try to be correct or politically
let's not
correct.
be
The
politically
best way to
correct
say
today.
it.
To jump on that, I saw, I think it was like a timeline post you put up on Facebook where it was like with the big shark.
Yes.
Let's
Yeah.
crack it up.
it was just, it was it was a movie that came out 45 feet down or something, and
One of them.
Deep
One
Below
of
or
them.
something like that.
yeah, something below, and it was with Mandy Moore and the shark. They had it in the movie theater right before I was going in for my amputation, and I was like, you know what? Let me just put my foot in there and take a picture before. And it ended up being, people were like, how dare you make a joke like that? Don't you take this seriously?
Now were these people that have
These were
amputated
other.
limbs?
No, these were not. These were not amputees, but
course.
they were upset.
Yeah,
that
they're
why
telling
are
you how to feel.
Why are you making this into such a joke? It's just so serious. And I'm like, but if I don't laugh about it, it's going to be sad.
Yeah.
So I make it into, it is what it is. But yeah, so it was a huge, probably, I don't even know how big it was. It was probably like 10, 11 feet.
Yeah.
And I'm like inside the shark, like laughing.
Oh,
and people,
really?
People got sensitive. I wasn't politically correct, offensive. Over a picture.
When we upload the YouTube version, I'll grab
Yeah,
that. I'll
pull
grab
the
that
picture.
picture and put it in
Yeah,
there.
there's plenty. I had
Yeah,
one
for
with
sure.
like a hatchet next to my foot, and people were like, she's joking about this. This isn't serious.
Hey, isn't that interesting how people can just try to tell you how you should feel?
Yes, you're supposed
When it's not
to
even
feel,
their situation.
You're supposed to feel very depressed. You're supposed to be in a depression. You're supposed to feel sorry for yourself, and really ride that pony all the way to the gate.
And now, obviously, you have very positive attitude with it, because I want to hear the story. I want to hear everything about it.
I do.
As much detail as you want to bring into it. But, for somebody that is so positive about the situation, I'm sure mindset, you can attest to, is everything for something like that, especially.
Mindset is everything. I was just saying, people see people get stuck under a rock, or they get stuck in these situations and they cut their leg off. They're not exceptional people. They're not amazing by any means. They're people who have been pushed against the wall and now have no other way out. And your body is meant to adapt. You're meant to survive under any circumstance. I said, people in hospice, they don't just die. Their heart continues to go on no matter what's going on until it decides to stop. So there's no way that you're going to, just stand there and sit under a rock for however long. People will survive.
It's not even, excuse me, an exceptional person thing. It's, you look at wolves in the wilderness too, or any other animal. If it gets stuck in a bear trap or something, they're going to bite their own foot off. Not some exceptional motivational wolf. It's, well, fuck, I got to do this or else I'm going to die here.
That's exactly what it is. And you see, a lot of people who are going for amputation beforehand, there's a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty brings a lot of fear. Before I had my amputation, I had no idea what the hell was going to happen. I had a leg for 38 years. Now I'm not going to have a leg. What's going to happen after? And I had to convince myself, I had canceled surgery for my amputation once. I was like, I just can't do this, and then they were like, this is really serious, it has to come off. So I had to really convince myself that, this was going to be okay. And you know what? It is okay. It's perfectly okay. But it's the little things that you don't realize are going to have to change. It's the little things that I see bring people down quickly. Because they think, oh, well, I won't be able to drive. But you know what? You will be able to drive. I drive perfectly fine with a right leg amputee. However, it's like, you can't just jump in the shower. You can't just get out of the shower. If you take your leg off and then you forget your towel outside, it's the small things that get people frustrated. You become very frustrated. And if they allow themselves to be frustrated, well, then you feel weak. It kind of goes hand in hand. You're missing your limb, and now you feel like you're missing such a huge part of yourself. And I tell people you have to grieve as if, you lost a loved one. You're losing a piece of yourself. And, you got to grieve that. They go through a lot of different emotions. Like a roller coaster ride, especially beforehand, because you don't know what's going to happen. So you're angry, you're mad, you're all going through this whole thing. And they got to really feel it.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard stories of people feeling like it's actually still there, and the sensations of it.
I have phantom pains. I feel
phantom pains. That's what they call it.
I think I told you the story.
Yeah,
I was going in the shower. I have an osseointegration, so my amputation is drilled into the tibia, so it's attached.
Okay.
And then the foot connects to this pole, so it's not a socket. So in your mind, you feel like, you still have your foot. And I went to get out of the shower thinking, I'm just going to walk the hell out and keep going. And bam, you hit the floor, and you're like, oh my God. Falling with a leg is one thing. Falling without, when you're really hitting the floor, you're like a flamingo that got shot. Sure. You know what I mean? So you're hitting the floor.
Yeah.
And there's classes on truly learning how to even fall properly, so that you don't just because with one leg you're going this way. There's not a lot of options there. But it's these small things that people don't realize. And They seem to, especially for the men, I think the men feel like, once a limb is gone, you're not as strong. You can't do this, you can't do that. And it really makes them feel less than.
I'm sure.
It's a big demasculating thing, but what a lot of people don't realize is, that limb doesn't make you who you are. You're you here and you're you up here. As long as those two are working, you can still keep on trucking. You got to keep pushing past it. Obviously, like you are.
You got to keep going, and the mindset to what you go into it with is exactly what you come out of it with.
Yeah.
I went into it. You're going to wake up and you're not going to have this limb. You're under the blanket when you first wake up, so that first look is like,
a little traumatic,
like a punch to the gut, and but it's really truly how you. I remember telling myself before I went under anesthesia, you're going to wake up and you're not going to have a leg. And, it kind of, they said to tell yourself beforehand, because when you wake up, some people get nervous, whatever. So it actually kind of flowed very easily for me. But before this even happened, I hadn't walked for a year of my life. Was spent in a recliner. Zero mobility. I had atrophy to everything. I hadn't moved. I was on crutches. There was nothing going on. And I ended up with this whole thing because I have CRPS, which is a pain disorder. And I opened a nonprofit for this because there's a lot of people who suffer from CRPS. And it had a name called RSD originally, which was regional sympathetic dystrophy. Then they changed it to chronic. They changed it around.
So it's a pain disorder. I'm not familiar with it. So what exactly do you feel, or what is it?
It's called chronic regional pain syndrome, and it's from a nerve damage. People can get it from staph infections. You can get it from slamming. Something as simple as slamming a toe, like stubbing your toe. And it's been around since the Civil War, but it affects your sympathetic nerve system, and it, affects the way you sweat, affects the way, your skin is red. You get burns. You lose feeling. So I haven't had feeling in my hands in years. So I had an incident where I went for a pedicure and got a 2nd-degree burn because I couldn't feel how hot the water was.
Ooh.
Wow.
And I didn't realize this was going on. So as it was happening, it was like these weird things were happening. And I ended up getting this from a surgery that, the nerve was touched and that was it. And it spread everywhere.
Wow.
So it's a
what,
disease.
if you're okay, what type of surgery was it?
It was an ankle surgery. So before I lost this ankle, I had a surgeon leave a tool inside of my foot years ago when I had just graduated high school.
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. How big was said tool?
It was the tip of a vaporizer. It was the first time they used the instrument, and it broke off. And instead of keeping me under anesthesia longer to remove it, they just decided to leave it in there.
Stop.
That's insane.
Yeah, so it rolled around for 6 months or so. I went to the hospital, and they were like, "Ma'am, you have a piece of something in your foot."
So you felt it in there, or
I felt pain. I had pain. I just had pain for oh my God, what the hell's going on? I felt like I had an infection, and then they were like, "You have metal inside of you. Is it supposed to be there?" And I was like, "No,
not
to my knowledge.
Not unless the aliens abducted me and left it in there.
Not to my knowledge." So that was the start of. I had 30-something ankle surgeries.
Jeez.
Wow.
And in between that, the more they cut you, the more your nerves get damaged, and this disease kind of crept in, and it just takes over your life. It's rated, there's a McGill scale. I don't know. It's a pain scale, and it's rated as if you amputated a limb at home by yourself. It's the highest on the pain scale of any disease.
So it causes pain, but it also numbs senses, so you can't feel pain.
Some people have, for me, I have a lot of numbness, so I don't feel it. But for some people, just like the wind touching their skin is enough to bring them over the edge. And it really. Water touching you, cold touching you can spread these things. It's a very rapid disease. It happens very quickly, and you really people don't know about it. So it's one of those rare diseases that comes out of nowhere, and now people are slowly starting to hear about it. A lot more people are being diagnosed. So I opened a nonprofit for this because I'll go to a hospital. I was going and I'm like, I'm having so much pain, and they're like, "We've never heard of this disease."
That's reassuring.
Yeah,
just
really.
So they say, "Let me Google it really quick." And they'll bring up, chronic regional pain syndrome. And they're like, "Oh my God, we've never heard of it." Well, if I'm here at the hospital and you're the doctor and you've never heard of it, how are you supposed to help me?
Yeah.
It's the same doctor that left something in your foot and said it's good enough.
Exactly. This is fine. We'll leave it there.
Yeah.
So 30 surgeries down the road, I had broken my talus inside of my ankle, which is, a joint that's not a hinge joint. It floats. You know, and I had a doctor say, we're going to do a 3D talus replacement. It's going to be amazing. You're going to come out of this. Things are going to be great. Needless to say, I had it put in. I had it in for 28 weeks of zero movement at all. And it flipped.
Oh,
It was not sitting correct.
Nice.
yeah.
We went in again. We tightened ligaments. We tightened tendons. We, did all this crazy stuff to try to 8 more weeks, and it flips. By that time, the foot was done. There's no more movement. There's no pulse on top. There's no pulse on the side. Now the only option is this. So what do you do when you're faced in this situation? And I get this question a lot. How do you make this decision? And, my answer is, how bad do you want to go back to your life? How bad do you want to have some kind of normalcy? I'm not saying, they said when you cut it off, did the CRPS go away? No. I have it. It is what it is. But it's really how you face these things. How are you going to face this problem? Yeah, you're in pain all the time. But are you going to lay in bed and cry about it? And people say, oh, you're not being sympathetic. I am. I'm being very sympathetic, but I'm being honest.
But you're also not going to lay there like a wounded dog and just...
You know what? The more and movement really helps. So for me, I'm in a place where my opinion is you cut the limb off. If you are a person who has CRPS right now and you have it in one limb and you can't move that limb at all, you're hostage to that situation. Now you're hostage. I don't care if it's an arm, a leg. If 50 chance that you're going to come out of this and that pain's going to be gone, if you can't use it already, what's the difference?
Yeah.
It's a hazard.
It's a hazard. You're constantly, you're like this, you're protecting it, you're forever shielding yourself from getting touched. You know what? Doctors will argue with me that, this is not correct. Once you cut it off, it has the ability to spread. It has the ability to do that anyway, but this can also be a situation where it has the ability to end the problem.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, if you do not amputate said limb, whether that's your hand, whether that's your foot, whatever it might be, does that illness have a chance to just jump to other areas of your body?
It can do exactly the same thing if you amputated or you didn't. You know what? So I only had it originally in my leg. I got into 2 accidents. I was rear-ended twice, and I hit my face, and it was instantly in my whole upper body.
Oh, God.
Any kind of trauma, once you have this, will make it progress.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? If you have it in one limb, I can understand. Obviously, if you have a full body, you got to deal with which part's the most painful. If it's your leg that you can't walk on, you can't walk anymore, and you're wheelchair bound. What are you going to lose by doing this? What are you going to lose? You can't walk. One leg is keeping you from having a life. To me,
where maybe you just, in your standpoint, maybe you just bite the bullet. Said to just bite the bullet. Retrain yourself, and then you don't have to worry about this.
You know what? And then for so many people that I speak to who contact me with this disease, who say, should I go ahead and do it? I say, yes. You know what? Do it. What are you going to lose? You already have lost everything. You're sitting in a wheelchair, and you have no life left. What is going to hurt by just taking it off? I know it sounds so dramatic, and people are like, are you insane telling people this? If this can save your life or even give you less pain, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Being an amputee is the farthest thing from, you're not going to have your life back. I mean, you see amputees do all these amazing things. I meet people all the time.
You post all the pictures and the videos fucking every day. There's a ton of them up there.
What about that guy, Bionic, the pro bodybuilder?
Yes.
Yeah.
These are amazing.
I actually met him at the New York Pro last year. Phenomenal attitude, really great guy, amazing athlete.
Bilateral, too. He's missing both legs. Both legs, okay? So, people... You're in pain. You're going to be in pain. There's no getting rid of that. So it's how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to get past this mental block that you have this is the end of my life. This is what it is. It's only going to get worse. And I remember 7 years ago, I was talking to my partner and I said, an article came up and it said, girl amputates limb due to CRPS. And I looked at her and I said, no fucking way. I swear to God, and we talk about it because as it came up, we were like, I can't believe God put us in this situation where now this is exactly what I didn't ever want to have to be in. And you know what? The girl took her leg off, and her life is great. And this woman who took her name off, her leg off, she really coached me into, this is going to be the best thing for you. This is going to be, and thank God the CRPS community, the amputee community is such a, I don't want to say it's like a cult, but it's kind of like a cult, that you really protect each other, and as things arise, you always have somebody who's like, you know what, I've been there before you. And I think that's the most important thing is people who've been there before you, listen to what they have to say.
Well, it's like a family.
It's like a
It's like
family.
a
You know
family.
what? You don't know anything about bodybuilding. You're not going to go into the gym and be like, yeah, well, I know what I'm doing. No, you're going to listen to the person who knows what they're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. Now, a year ago, it's almost a year that I've been an amputee. I was like, this is going to be a disaster. And now you come out of it on the other side, and you're like, this is the best thing I could have done.
You're bubbly. You're awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
You know what? This is the best thing. This is who I was supposed to be.
As cold as it sounds, couldn't get any worse.
It couldn't get any worse. And I feel like if you're, it can't get any worse. And there's a chance. I don't care if it's 10% chance. That's worth it to me. That's a
Yeah.
gamble that was worth it to me. Will it spread? Maybe. Okay. It's already everywhere. What's going to happen?
yeah.
You know what? If I could, as soon as I came out of the amputation, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. This is my plan. And I had a plan. I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to drive again. And that day I drove. You know what? It's all having goals when you get out.
Micro goals.
Yeah, very, very small
baby steps into
goals.
the right direction of becoming back to quote unquote normal.
Exactly. You know what? And people say, it's not normal. Well, you know what? Things change. You get divorced and then your life changes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You lose
You
a
have
job, you get another one.
You have kids and then your life changes. We are meant to adapt. This is part of
Mhm.
the journey. And this is, this is a dramatic, maybe it's a little more dramatic, but you know what? It's all if you see it as dramatic. When I go to the gym, I don't feel disabled. I don't feel like, I can do anything that anybody else can do. I just may have to adjust it slightly.
Yeah.
I do the best that I can. I don't like the word never. You're never going to be able to do that. No, I am going to be able to do that just a little bit differently. So I can't squat exactly like my foot doesn't have a flex. So I can't squat that way, but I can squat a different way. And I can manage to
Could
figure
do leg
out.
presses.
I can do other things to do the same thing. You know what? Whereas some people, that I speak to, it's just, this is what it is now.
And people take it for granted too. There's people out there that say, I won't train my legs. You're out here training your legs.
Well,
What excuse do you have now?
There was actually an issue when I was in the gym, and I kind of felt myself getting a little angry, like last week. And there was a girl.
And this was actually yesterday.
This was actually an hour ago. And she was in the leg press machine, and I hear her moaning, and she's like crying, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm thinking to myself, how blessed you are to even have the ability to feel that pain.
Yeah.
If it's not something that you want to do, don't do it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste my time. Don't waste your own time.
Mhm.
You want to do something, do it fully. Don't do it with moaning and grunt. I'm not talking about, she's grunting because she's, this hurts. This is what it's supposed to do. If it didn't hurt, there's no growth without any
It
pain.
won't change
Yep.
you.
You have to be in pain. That's just what it is. Pain builds a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I started bodybuilding and getting on my fitness journey, my father has multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
So he's in a wheelchair. He's been like that since, not wheelchair bound, but I would say since the mid to late 2000s.
Okay.
It really progressed on him. He's had it for a long time. He's had it since I was born. So I always felt, especially when I pushed myself in the gym, although we don't have the most stable relationship, my parents were divorced since I was very young, and my father's more of a friend than a father to me. My mom is really both. So my mom
Okay.
is my father figure and my mother. And it
Okay.
sounds weird, but until you meet my mom, she's just super.
She's got the whole package.
She's super
Yeah.
across the board.
Okay.
She's just awesome. So I would actually think that I couldn't bust out another couple reps. And I'd be at the gym and I'd go, my dad can't even train. My dad's in a wheelchair, miserable that he's there, and he can't even train. So I might as well bust out these for him. And I would push myself a little harder just for him. It sounds corny and it may sound stupid, but it's like, while he's not able to do this, let me push it even harder.
Well, you hear a lot of amputees, and they say, leg day is my favorite day. Leg day is truly, such a blessing. You don't realize that. And I remember laying in bed and saying, praying, if you just give me the opportunity, I will never complain again. I will never say I can't walk that. All right. All the things you realize that you took for granted and simple things that, I've learned along the way, which is like, if you're in a wheelchair and you go into a store and those aisles are not a certain distance, well, now what's that person supposed to do? If you don't have automatic bathroom doors, what is that person now going to do? And, we're so used to running in and out of the bathroom, and I've learned so much in a freaking bathroom in a year of my life that I swear to God, it's bizarre. But, you run into the bathroom, you jump into the handicap stall. I'm like notorious my whole life for doing this. Not that I don't give a shit about anybody else. I never thought about it. It for some reason never dawned on me how selfish I was being. Now, I have a handicap parking. I won't park in handicap unless I have to because you know what? I'll do it if it's like raining outside because God forbid, I don't have the.
Right.
But if somebody else, I'm always like there's somebody else who's in so much worse shape than I am. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel blessed to just be able to walk the parking lot when I used to, have to be pushed in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Side story.
Go ahead.
When I worked at Apple, so I used to work at the Apple right here in Manhasset.
Okay.
And I don't know if you've ever been to that Apple store. It's a big glass structure. It's super pretty. And you could see the parking lot and you could see Northern Boulevard behind you.
Okay.
When I worked there, I was notorious for not drinking the Kool-Aid
Okay.
like everybody else that worked at Apple. Everybody was very culty and very.
Apple has a cult.
It's very.
Uh-huh.
It's very. Once you put the Apple shirt on,
You
it's
are
like,
Apple. I like that.
we're here to help
Join
and
us.
this and that. I was never like that.
Okay.
Everyone knew I was a straight shooter.
Go to Samsung.
So,
Go to Samsung. I got it. Go ahead.
sold more than anybody there, and I was just like I was the go-to guy for a lot of people. However, management really didn't like me because anytime somebody would park in a handicap spot, I thought of my dad falling in the parking lot because he couldn't get up.
Yeah.
And I would now tell that person, you need to move that car. Apple's standpoint was, we're not allowed to enforce that. My standpoint is, fuck that. This person's a bitch, and they need to go park in the back and learn how to walk because they can.
Because you can.
And
Yeah.
on a one day, we had a bunch of trainees at the time. They were all standing in front of the store, and I was standing, kind of offset in the back. And I was standing with one of the other experts. So we were basically the supervisors of the sales area. And as we're standing there talking, this dude pulls up in his Aston Martin, and him and his girl, they get out of the car. He pulls right into the handicap spot. I'm not joking. Everybody just looks at him. They look at each other. They look at me.
And they knew.
And everyone parted like the Red Sea.
Yeah, they knew it was coming.
I said, I'm like this. I went, all right, Nick's up. So I walk up. I'm like, how you doing, man? He's like, hey, what's going on, bro? He's like, I need this. I said, I got you. Don't worry.
Now
I'll
move
get
your
everything
car.
for you. I said, however, you are parked in a handicapped spot. And if you don't have a sticker, I got to have you move the car. He goes, really? Really? I said, yeah, man. I said, unless you have a sticker, throw that shit in the window and we're good to go. I said, and I'll help you out in here. He goes, you know what? I took a slug in the war. I'm a veteran. Don't worry about it. Slaps me on my shoulder like that and walks past me. Let me get somebody else that'll fucking help me. This kid sucks. I went, okay. Called the cops. Called the cops. Brought him over.
People think this is like an option. Like you can do this.
Do you want to need a sticker?
Yes. Yeah.
Apple was livid with me. I said,
Because you did the correct thing.
I said, fuck your rules. I do not care what you guys think about me. I said, my father falls more times than anybody and he can't get up. This is when he was still driving. Now he doesn't drive at all.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he can't get up. He will lay there for hours unless somebody helps him up or he gets medical assistance.
Yes.
I said, just because Dusho over here in his Aston Martin can't move 2 spots back, I said, I'm not going to sit here and take that.
Entitlement. We have, and you know what? Myself included, you have a sense of entitlement before something happens that changes your life. Like I could just run in real quick. I'm just going to run into 7-Eleven real quick. I'll park here. It's fine. Or you park in the lines that go like this because you're like, well, what the fuck are they for? Until you realize, well, somebody needs a ramp to come out and pull out. It's all these little things that you're like, holy shit, I took that for granted. And then people look at you who have already been in the situation and like, but how? And it's something you really need to learn. It really humbles you. You're just a more humble person because you're so grateful for the fact that you can walk, the fact that you can walk the more. People are like, oh, walk anyway. Yeah, walk because you can.
Yeah.
That's why you have 2 legs because you can walk. It's really a teachable situation if you let it be. Otherwise, you lay in bed and you cry about it. But this is your life.
Yeah.
You're not going to put Miracle Grow on this shit's coming back in the morning. This is it.
That's it.
So I'll get people who will contact me and they'll say, I really want the amputation. And, I give them the directions on how to go about doing this. And it's one thing to say you want it. And then as the appointments go on, it slowly becomes.
The prep work.
Maybe this isn't for me. If you feel like it isn't for you, then, it isn't for you. I don't feel like I'm strong enough. That doesn't fly with me. You're not strong enough. You don't know how strong you are until you're put in that situation. And when I was put in that situation, the doctor, I kept asking questions. I had like a freaking list of questions I needed answers to. And
Which is good for you because most people just sit there, say, okay, whatever it is.
But it was at the point where he was kind of like, okay, I think he wanted to call my bluff. And he wrote me an email, and I have it, and it said, I don't think you're strong enough to handle this surgery. And that was like, And I was like, I booked that shit an hour later.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's not why I'm not doing
Once
it.
he tells you can't do
I
something,
can't
that's
do it. I don't like that. I can absolutely do this, I was nervous as hell, but I could do it.
Understandably.
And a year later, you're like, wow. People say, it's a year. You're going to work out. I got to work out for a year to see results. A year goes like
Oh,
so
God, it goes so quick.
fast. And
Thank
you
God,
don't realize.
thank God this fucking year is almost over.
Oh, Jesus.
my
Yeah.
God.
I hope we don't get, like the plus or ultra version of 2021. You know what I mean? 2019, this is the plus version. So now, let's see what we get. But this year is just the whole year is very teachable. I mean, take a look how quick life changes for everybody and how quickly people are okay with that. This is what it is now. We'll put the mask on and we'll go about our day.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Okay.
Because that's what we were told to do. You know what? Not realizing, especially in CRPS was just put on the list of people who shouldn't be wearing a mask. You're depriving yourself of oxygen. I don't care what anybody says.
I get the doctors. Oh my God, I have a photo saved. I was going to send it to him, and I was going to send it to Augie too, from last week's episode. There was a doctor that I ran 6 miles with a mask on with the oxygenation on me to show that I didn't drop in oxygen in my body either way. I'm like, dude, I get that, okay, but at the same time, there's a feeling that you're actually being deprived as well. And if you're really working out hard, especially like training, which technically we're not supposed to do anyway, but guess what? I got my home gym now.
Yeah,
Fuck you.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't. You got to be more sympathetic to everybody. You can't just sit here and say, no, you're being selfish if you don't put that on.
And not just that too, is if the doctor just ran 6 miles with a mask on, he's been running for a long, long time.
Of course, so he's trained to do this.
He's healthy. He can use oxygen more efficiently. He can use half as much oxygen as a regular person more efficiently, where you take somebody who's really overweight and gets lightheaded walking down a flight of stairs, deprive their oxygen, they're falling down the stairs.
Exactly. So, but people are very complacent with just going about the way things are. And you know what? Especially when you're in, if you have CRPS or you're in a situation, I don't understand how people trust doctors so easily.
Willy-nilly.
You know what? Well, that's my doctor, and that's what he said. I don't really give a shit what he said. I have a friend who just got diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, 33 years old. We just shaved her head this morning. The kid is a fighter. You know what? And they give statistics. This is your chance of survival. And my answer to her was, your chance of survival is exactly how you go into this. Okay. The kid's a fighter. She's already beat Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Wow.
Once. She's a fighter. Who you are determines how this works out. And people say to me, how do you look up and still, say, look for God. God, if you believe that God put you in this situation, then you're out of your mind, because that's not how this works. If God put you in this situation, it's for a reason. And it's to see what you can accomplish, what you're able to come out of this
Your
with.
fight or flight.
It's not to drag you through hell, because you know what I said when I first started? I was like, why the hell am I in this situation? Why would God do this? I've already been through this. I didn't walk for a year, now this. And you know what?
Unholy people become very holy in times of despair like that.
I said, we always look up. You always, and I'm not a religious person or anything, but we always look up when things are going great. We're like, oh, thank God. You know what? But that's really, you can't be thankful at one point and not thankful at the other. The people who wake up and you're miserable at 7 a.m., I don't understand for what. You got up, you stood up, you walked, I got to go to work. Well, that's, you're lucky that you can still do that.
You woke up another day.
Before I started doing this, I was a high school presenter doing cyberbullying and suicide in these huge lectures. You know what? And then slowly this disease crept up, and it was like I couldn't even keep my eyes open. I couldn't stand. I went from kickboxing to I was, had like zero energy. I was sleeping all day, and it was just like, what the hell is going on? And slowly it progressed and progressed and progressed into a point where it's like, well, now what do you do? So they're like, well, is it gone now? No, it's not gone. I have it throughout my body. But it was this one situation that was really the anchor on me. It was a hostage, and people had said it's like a divorce. Are you ready to say, okay, we're done completely, and that's it? Or are you you want to work it out? You want to keep suffering and see if, maybe it gets better and the pain's not that bad, or you don't get hit today kind of situation. He only beats me because he loves me. That's the kind of situation. That's how it was pointed at me.
I love you so much.
God damn it.
He punched me in the heart. He wants to be closer to it.
Exactly. It's really how I hear these metaphors, and, it was really resonated with me. And it was like, yeah, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? I've already had how many surgeries? You're going to have another surgery again, and it's going to continue. You don't want to do that. You know, you
Mhm.
put your body, every time you have one of these surgeries, you put yourself at risk for something going wrong.
Yeah,
Even something
more
as
and more stress.
I was gonna say even something as simple as anesthesia going wrong.
You know how, and
Mhm.
30-something surgeries, anesthesia repeatedly affects the brain, and it's been
Yeah.
proven. It's been proven. You know, you get a lot of memory loss. Um, you know, but this disease, it causes a lot of things. It causes, I have like 4 leaks in my heart. You know, you get a lot of different symptoms, and everybody has different things, but it's how you handle, you know.
Mhm.
Do I not, you know, allow my heart to get into cardio because it's got a leak? No. If I drop that, I drop that. I'll be okay with it. It's fine.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to live my life afraid of what's going to happen next.
Right.
You know, and that's a lot of the questions I get. But what about what are you going to do when you get here? What am I going to do while I'm here right now?
Yeah.
I'm not worried about, you know, you got to, especially as an amputee, I feel like you got to prepare yourself for later.
Mhm.
Because not being physically strong, mentally strong, is going to, you know, as you're 60, 70, and you got to hold yourself up, it's not going to be the same situation. So now is the time to get this shit done.
To build the foundation.
Build the
The
foundation.
new
Yeah.
foundation, because I'm
And-
sure you had one prior, and now this is a whole new ball game.
It's a whole new
Yeah.
ball game, and it, you know, like I say, you can build a lot out of rubble. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
start from rubble, and you know, people don't want to take the time. You want instant gratification. You know, I want to go to the gym and I want to look like, you know, this. Well, then you have to go to the gym. You have to actually drive to the gym and
I
you
hate
have
to
to
break
get
it to
out
you.
of the car.
Yeah.
You know, and it's
Now it's in my garage. Now I have no excuse.
That's it. Now you just got to walk outside.
Yeah, I walk down the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, but those stairs are so steep.
You know, people were like, you know, I had bought a bike during this pandemic, and they were like, you know, it's hot as hell. You're gonna go outside and ride? Yeah, because I can.
Mhm.
Because I can. If I'm sweating to death, I'm not gonna die. None of this is gonna kill me. And now I have this mentality that there really is nothing that's going to kill me. Nothing's too difficult. Nothing's too out of reach, because your body, you can really push your body to beyond limits.
Mhm. Well, that's one of the biggest things with the gym is your body is so much more capable to doing things than you realize. If your form is good and you're not doing something stupid, it takes a lot to physically rip apart the human body.
Yeah, it's meant to
Mhm.
survive. It's meant to adapt, and you can really adapt to anything. And it was funny because at the gym,
Mhm.
Paul had said to me, you know, don't be afraid to fail. I had never in my life heard that. I swear to God,
Mm.
nobody has ever. My mother had always said to me, failure is not an option. You're not going to fail. This is not an option. And I was kind of like, well, yeah, work out until you can't lift anymore. And then,
Mhm.
you know, you did as best as you can. But I've never heard it in that. Failure is okay. You know, so it was like, you know, now I have it in the back of my mind that it was a nice thing to hear that, you know, it's
Learn from
okay.
it.
It's okay to fail and to do as best as you can. You come back
Mhm.
the next day and you do a little
Yeah,
better.
but that rebound has to
Yeah.
be stronger.
You got to be, you know, you got to be stronger. You couldn't lift it today, but you know what? In 2 weeks, you might be able to.
You fail and learn something from it.
That's it. But I had never heard it put quite like that. And it really was like, it resonated and it stuck with me. It was like,
Mhm.
okay. Because I've always heard don't fail.
Yeah, certain little sayings, quotes, people mentioning something to you, things that you experience. For some reason, everybody's obviously are different, but just it could be the simplest thing or the smallest little thing, but that will stick out to you forever.
It does. Certain
Mhm.
lines just stay with you. And it's you know, but for me, my mother was very, you know, my father's very, like, you did a great job. My mother would be like, that's a pile of shit. You could have done better. And you should have done better. I'd be like, yeah, I knew it was a pile of shit when
Yeah,
I
you're
brought it
right.
home. So, you know, she said, well, you know, I went to school for art. So it was like, I'm not hanging that. That's you didn't do shit
Damn.
with that. And it was like,
That
she
look-
knew you worked 15 minutes on it and that was it.
It looks great in the garbage.
It looks, yeah, that's where it's going. Take it right outside and
It's
leave it out there.
glistening. It's glistening out there.
But it was, you know, people are like, oh, she's so hard on you. But she's not, because she knows what I can do.
Mhm.
You know, she took it the hardest, you know, when this all came about. And really, it really put her through a lot. And, you know, now on the other side, we're on the other side after. And she's like, you know, I know she's like, wow. You know, when I walked up the driveway for the first time after not walking forever, and she went hysterical crying, you already felt proud. You already felt like you achieved so much. So it's those little, you know, people are like, you know, leg day hurts. Yeah, good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It should. Because I don't know what you're doing here otherwise. You know, I don't want to lift anymore. So then don't come. You know,
Yeah.
if it's not something
Mhm.
you're passionate about, don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't
Don't waste the
understand.
time.
That's why
and
it's
our
been-
space.
Yes, don't waste space, don't waste time. If you're not really into it, you know, don't do it, because it's not something you're going to stick with. Then why? Why are you
Mhm.
wasting your time?
Exactly. That's why I got everything in my garage now, because I needed to be able to continue lifting. I couldn't be without that gap. It was just
But you feel better after you lift.
Yeah.
I feel since I've had the rack in there and I've been able to have everybody over, a couple friends to train and this and that. We were doing it. I mean, it'll be last Saturday was probably the most brutal. We did legs for 2 hours, squatted heavy, probably 12 to 15 sets of squats, I mean, by the time we got up to our working weight, nice and slow, eased into it, listening to music. It's just a different type of euphoric feeling. I told them that too. I said, listen, when the gyms open back up, I'm going back. I said, I'm going to go back to Bev's. I'm going to be doing this and that. But I said, just like being able to go, yo, guys, come to the house on Saturday. We're going to train legs together. And just having that camaraderie of everybody just,
it's nice.
yo, we going up and weight. We going up and weight. Yeah,
It
let's
gets
go.
you feeling good.
Starting squat, and then we're doing walking lunges out in my my gated community. Everyone's looking at us like we're fucking nuts. Doing walking lunges down the middle of my block, all the way to the end and back.
But it's all of you, and it's a group, and I feel like it's so important to surround yourself with people that don't say can't.
Yeah.
If you're, I can't. You can't do what? Did you try? I tried, but it was hard.
Good. It's supposed to be hard.
That's the word try. It goes with hard, okay? You got to work past that. You tried, it was hard, okay, you did it again, keep going. If you're around people that quit, that's what it is. You're used to, there's no focus, there's no discipline, this is what it's going to be. So I really think that's, a big thing too. I don't surround myself with people that are like, nah, it's not going to work.
Spoon-fed.
No,
not going to happen.
I don't want, if it's easy, I don't want it. You can have it.
Yeah.
Well, that's what normal is, what we were saying before. Normal is, what is the easiest path I can get through this life? Okay, I'll do this. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Shouldn't do that? Oh, well, okay, I won't do that. Put a mask on. Sure, no problem. Go to school? Well, okay, because you said so. Now, where are you now?
This is what it is. If you know that path, I said I would much rather now, a year later, dig a whole new path by hand than walk the path that I was on before. Because you know what? Now, hindsight, I didn't really like who I was before. I don't like what I was standing for before. Now I have a very clear vision of exactly who I am, what I believe in, what I think is right, who I want to surround myself with. And, on a side note, I had a girl, I was at the mall and young, very young, I think she's 23 now. I knew immediately looking at her, she had CRPS. It's just something that you just know. It's this look of like constant pain, and I sent my partner over and I said, go buy, they were at the pretzel stand. I said, go buy that kid, whatever the hell she's paying for. And we ended up meeting up and speaking for we were in the mall with her parents for about 3 hours. And, she's on all this medication. Doctors are quick to give you medication and medication and medication. Now you're having seizures. You never had seizures before. 4 of those medications cause seizures. Well, that ups this percentage of what's going to happen, doesn't it? If 5 of them cause seizures, you're now up to a 50% chance you're going to have them. And after speaking to her parents and speaking to her, they slowly started to wean off this medication. And she's friends with me on Facebook, and she's an amazing kid, and she's doing so well now. She was wheelchair bound when I met her. Wow. She is now walking. I mean, and it's just so nice. People, you give so much to the doctors because it's like, but they miss blood work, and you miss reading this, and you miss that, and you miss small things. Sometimes you need to be your own advocate. And, for parents who have kids with CRPS, they're too young to be on such heavy-duty medications with such serious side effects, liver problems and kidney problems. You're already going to have these problems from the disease, period.
Yeah.
You add now gabapentin and Neurontin and all these that stop your brain synapses at 23. Well, by 40, now you have Alzheimer's. There's things that these medications, these companies, like we've talked about, they get these kickbacks. Let me sell the shit out of this. The doctor goes to Cancun, or, they'll say they don't do that anymore because of the sunshine law and all this stuff.
So they go to Fiji.
You go to Fiji, you get Panera for lunch, Panera for lunch. And I'm not saying, I'm blessed to have great doctors. I have great doctors right now. But, I've had doctors in the past that what's going on. It's not for your wellness necessarily. It's because, this drug is popular right now. Well, let's test it out on you and see what happens. Well, now, you got the shits in church, and you're, everything's going wrong, and you don't know why. So, I feel like people,
must be Jesus clearing me out.
You're getting crucified. I think people need to really back up on the doctors and say, you know what, look at your own blood work. Google is an amazing situation.
Yeah.
Do you have a point?
Yeah, I do.
Say it.
So, if you look back at the kids you went to high school with, right, even in college, and if you go on their Facebook pages, you see what they're doing for a living nowadays.
Yeah.
You see someone go, holy shit, you're a doctor? You were the crazy bully. You're a lawyer now. What's going on here? A lot of people, and doctors aren't magicians. It's not magic. They studied, passed the test, and then totally forgot it. They crammed it the night before, and that was it. So I'm sure every one of the doctors out there, for the most part, knows the simple, you have a postnasal drip, sure, bronchitis, here, strep, sure, do this, blah, blah, blah. Go get your flu shot. But when you're up against this different situation, people's egos kick in and go, you know what? I'm not too sure about this. Let me send you to my friend. It's no, here, take this. I'll take the kickback. And now I look like a hero.
It's better for them to, pass the buck
Mhm.
off to somebody else. You know what? If you don't know, I would much rather hear I have no clue what's going on, which is, I heard a lot of that until I found somebody who was like, I know exactly what's going on here.
Mhm.
And I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. And you know what? I'd rather know what's going to happen than be blindsided.
Yes.
So that was really, it's important to really look at these doctors. It doesn't feel right, then go somewhere else. It's not like a
Right.
one hit wonder. There's plenty of specialists.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was writing them all down, all the points, just so I didn't forget them.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you say pass the buck off on another doctor. So you ever see Doctor Strange?
Yes.
So Doctor Strange, when he starts turning down surgeries in
Yeah.
the car when he's looking at the thing, and he goes, I have my own reputation to worry about, because he knows that he might not be able to help this person, and that failed surgery will look bad
Yes,
underneath him.
yes.
And then later, when he has the issues in the movie, when he's got the hand issues and he can't
Yep.
feel his hands, the doctor in Paris says the same thing to him. I'm sorry, you're a lost cause. I have my own reputation to worry about.
Yes.
And he hangs up on him.
And reputation is huge.
Yep.
It's
Very-
huge. You don't want to be the person who's like, oh, well, on my watch, this happened.
Yeah.
Which I get, you don't want to be that, but this does happen.
Yeah.
And, this happened because of an error, this situation. And, does that make it more frustrating? Of course it does, because now I'm in a situation that I didn't need to be in.
Mhm.
And I trusted the doctor extremely, and I was let down extremely. But this is now the life that I have, and this is what it is, and what am I going to do with it? You know what? I have to make the best of it.
Listen, I didn't know
Mhm.
you prior to this. I know you only how you are currently today, and I think you're phenomenal. I mean, let's
Thank
be
you.
honest.
Mhm.
You're super uplifting. The stuff that you're posting is super motivational, not only for people that probably have the issues, but people like me who want to push a little bit further. And because we are blessed to have everything still, and that's really what you have to get out of
And you
that.
should always, I always say you should always push further, especially, with this whole pandemic that went on. I'm shocked at how easy people are to listen to it. I'm not saying there's no pandemic by any means.
No, we say this
I
every
very,
week. It's
Yeah.
real.
very much know people who have been sick.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is, maybe the preconditions and the comorbidities that went along with things played in the amount of deaths. You have a
For
lot
sure.
of older people. I'm not saying young people didn't get it. I'm going to get crucified for this, but
Mhm.
I believe there is a virus, absolutely. But you know what? Your immune system. A lot of people all of a sudden now are like, I'm autoimmune deficient. You have no legs, so you shouldn't be out. What the hell does no leg have to do with my autoimmune system? I have CRPS, so I shouldn't go outside. No, I would much rather breathe. God forbid I get sick. I'll deal with it when I get sick.
Mhm.
I'm not going to stay inside for the rest of my life. I think that's nuts.
At this rate.
At this, yeah, for the rest of my life.
Fucking
That's
at this
basically,
rate.
that's basically what they want you to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Run,
you know
run
what?
out of money and stay inside.
Stay inside.
Yep.
You inside so long, your immune system now is deficient.
Mhm.
You haven't been around germs. You haven't been around kids. Kids haven't been around people. You know what? You need these
And then they're
germs.
shocked when
Yeah.
people start getting sick.
Yes, immediately.
I truly believe that and this could sound like not being naive or whatever it is. I truly believe that second wave, whatever the second wave is going to be, and then the current reinfection rates that are going on now are from people that have been inside the entire time.
Of
They're the
course.
ones that
Absolutely.
are getting sick that have not been potentially exposed. I'm not saying that we haven't been exposed to it yet, or in general, but
Sure, we have.
that's what I was about to say. I'm sure we've come into some trace of it at the fucking grocery store.
When somebody, I like
at
when the
Target.
doctor says, well, have you come in contact with somebody with COVID? You think they're going to come up to me and say, oh, by the way.
Hey, by the way,
I don't think so. I
you
don't
touched
think,
that pack of gum?
Yeah,
I
touched that.
I licked it 10 minutes ago.
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think anybody's going to consciously, people are sick and they're going out still.
Mhm.
And that's like when you have the flu. Well, I feel like shit, but I still got to get,
I still got to get this
Yeah.
work
I got to
done.
get shit done. You know what? People are going to do that.
Mhm.
And I'm positive we've touched something that's been on there. And, I've met people who said I had it. I slept in bed with my wife. My kids were here and they were fine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
John.
Waylon.
That was John
That was
Whalen
John.
that came
Oh,
on.
you see,
Yeah.
my painter, he was just like, I had it in February. I got sick. My wife slept next to me the whole time, didn't catch it.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theory, but I
Yeah.
thought it's highly contagious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and then the CDC came out with a second article recently that said you don't have to self-isolate as strict as they're saying that you have to. There was another one that said you don't need masks, that the Surgeon General said absolutely not. They make things worse. And then you have, Dr. Fauci over there riding whatever momentum wave that he can. And then him and Cuomo aren't even wearing their fucking masks. So it's
Well, you know what? We've been around people. I think if you get it, I think you're gonna get it, and I think that's okay. You know what?
I just stay away from my grandmother. That's really it. I stay away from grandma.
Just in case.
It sucks that I'm with my mom. I live home with my mom, so it sucks in the terms of she has colitis.
Okay,
so she's already at a disadvantage if she was to get sick.
When they say the disadvantage, what's gonna happen that's gonna be more extreme? I mean, really, first it was you need all this toilet paper. I don't know anybody who had the shits, okay? But we needed all this toilet paper. Then we run out of Lysol. But we're all still, we haven't had Lysol in forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They said it's not going to be back till 2021. They're out.
People are living though without Lysol in the whole goddamn place.
I have hand sanitizer. Like today, the guy took my card for gas,
and you hand sanitized after.
And like right when he gave me my card back, I just little clump on the card. That's it. Back in the wallet. We're done.
That's it.
That's as much as I'm getting into it right now.
But apparently, people weren't washing their hands before this. That you need a directive to wash your hands. Don't put your hands in your mouth.
Okay.
Have you met people? They probably weren't.
I know.
The new Apple Watch software. I have the beta of the new software on my phone, and I have the beta on my watch. The new Apple Watch software, if you start washing your hands, it counts down 20 seconds for you.
This is where we're at.
And then it goes, yay, congrats. I'm like, oh, wow. I gotta wash my fucking hands. This is some sad shit.
Congratulations when you do the hand washing.
You might have the potty training version on your
Yes, is this the child version of this?
My God, I thought Kenji locked something on my watch.
Oh, my God. Well, this is the mentality that we're in. We need directives for everything.
Coddling. Everyone's got to have their safe space.
And then there's your participation trophy.
Yes,
yeah, you did
There's a lot of that too.
So I'll tell you, this is going to be a really side off the cusp before I forget, and then I have two more things I wanted to say.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just thinking of the state of America, and not the state of politically anything like that. Just the state of America, where it comes to hard workers, when it comes to pushing over obstacles, when it comes to being strong when you have to be.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe just being strong at all times, taking every situation and solving it to the best of your abilities and making sure that you excel ahead in some fashion. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, man, we got a generation of just fucking losers coming up in this world, sitting there with their hands out, looking for excuses, looking for reasons why they're due something, and you start to think back to how America has transitioned over the years, and transitioned in terms of our great-grandparents, grandparents. Mine were from Italy. I'm third generation Italian. Coming over here because they knew a better life would be here.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother and my grandfather both had 3 jobs each. And my grandmother would be home every night putting food on the table for my great-grandfather and waiting for her to clear the plate. I'm not sitting here saying that's the way, because I think customs and traditions get upgraded and people become more in tune with each other, and it's not just like a hierarchy type thing. But you think about that type of a behavior, working all day just to come home and work for your parents too.
And they considered that a better life. And you know what? That actually, they were bettering themselves.
They were.
Whereas I think the
discipline, hard work.
The difference now is a better life is you have the best of, the best gaming.
The best Supreme shirt.
You have the best Supreme shirt. You look like you have money, even if you don't. You'll put your ass on the line to make it look like you have this facade of being something.
It's all a show.
Whereas, I've met people who really, they're successful and they're amazing people and they've worked their asses off and they wear Old Navy, and they're the best people I've ever met. You know what? They don't
buy into the shit.
You don't buy into flaunting yourself. There's no, you are.
They wear that because that's why they stay wealthy.
You have to.
They're not blowing 500 on a shirt.
You're better. The better life that they're looking for is pretend. You have these influencers on Instagram, and you buy your 39,000 followers. You got all these million. You don't know not one of these goddamn people.
Wait,
okay?
I wasn't supposed to do that.
That's it. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Shit.
Yeah, but up it up. And I think that the better life is a totally different idea now. The better life is to look important even if you're not.
And it continues to get weirder and weirder as the years go on.
I mean, well, when you can make a job out of playing Fortnite, I mean, this is a whole different world.
Yeah, which I agree.
It's a whole different kind of kid. The bullying, these kids are there's no room for them to get away from anything anymore. Social media is it. So from morning till night, even before when I was doing bullying, these kids go through a lot that we probably didn't have to go through because you went home, shit was shut off, and that was it. You had MTV, you had a regular.
I put my aim away message on.
That's it. Yeah, I won't be around till dinner's done. Okay, but now they're inundated with it. So I think you see on Instagram. Look, this is what it's gonna take for me to be this great person. I need a Supreme shirt. I need a Champion bag. I need this hat. I need these shoes. And that's what makes for a better life now, when really that's not the case whatsoever.
Well,
Being
it's a
a
better
good
life.
person it's a fake life, and you see the facade. I mean, you see it all the time. You know, you have the nicest pants, and you're wearing now $5,000 worth of different products, and you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And that's the facts. You know what?
You know what? You can be a piece of shit and be genuinely wealthy and just live your life because you're happy. But when you're spending all that money to live a complete lie, live with your parents, fucking work at Burger King, and then act like and drive a Lexus because
You'll drive a
because
Lexus that
drive a
you're
Lexus-
leasing for $900 a month.
I know plenty of them. And then you give it back.
And then you give it back, and you
That's a
get the
steal.
next.
My lease is $1,200 a month.
That's why. This is what I think the better life is now. It's not about bettering a family, because nobody really cares about anybody. There's not a lot of selflessness. It's what are you going to give to me after I help you? You know, and I've been blessed to have people offer me opportunities where they've come with no strings attached. You know, just come here and show me, you know, Paul as well, show me what you're...
Yeah, I want to get into what you guys are doing with that too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So I want to talk about that. Let me wrap this part
ahead.
up. So I started thinking about other countries and how all these other athletes from all these other countries, how are they able to bring that strong, you know, what do they do in their own home? Now there's a Russian guy, I think his name is Mikhail. He's a strong man. Let me tell you, this dude is scary as fuck. He is some hell of an athlete. If you look up on Rogue, he's a Rogue athlete, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
There's a video of him at the Rogue, the Arnold Classic last year, deadlifting. And as he's deadlifting, blood just starts shooting out of his nose.
Yeah.
He wears the beret.
Yep.
Super serious dude, but respectful and nice. Now, they did a little documentary on him, like 10, 20-minute documentary on Rogue's YouTube. You got to see how this dude lives, like in the middle of like Serbia, Russia, it looks like. He's outside in the middle of an icy forest, throwing a weighted bag
Like
over,
a scene from Rocky.
Yeah. Literally.
not even joking, for real. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, and everyone's got the audacity to bitch about shit over here, where everything's a metropolis. Everything is, we just have the new shopping center, this and that. This buddy over here is walking in the snow and ice to go train. And he's not complaining about the cold, the freezing.
Well, look at you know.
I just start thinking, like, that's a more hardened individual than what we're raising over here right now.
Well, we're not really. These kids really aren't spending. You know, you don't spend a lot of time with your parents. I know for me, people are like, why do you spend so much time with your parents? Because I'm grateful that I have them still. You know, I have, you know, that should be. I feel like that should be your best friend. That should be what you're more focused on than other bullshit. You know what? Your family is your family, and that you can't change that. You fight or not, good or bad, that's your family. But you know, even where we sit down on like Sunday, Monday night, you know, 90 Day Fiance, and you know, you watch this crap, and I'm in the kitchen, and I hear the girl say, you know, well, you know, her husband came over to the United States, and she's like, well, I know he's here, you know, and I know the United States isn't that great, but, and I said, what did she say? And he's like, did she just say that? And he's like, yeah, she said, well, the United States is not that great, but, I'm like, but what? But you're lucky enough that we can even bring your fiance here on a visa, but it's not that great. You know, I think we're
Priorities are skewed.
Priorities are a little skewed. There's certain things that, you know, I have friends in Denmark. I said, what do they say about us there as far as healthcare? And they'll say, you know, come back to Denmark for healthcare. You know, we're not perhaps like Israel and certain places, Italy. They have a lot more advances than we do. You know, we're an amazing country. But I don't know that medically, certain things we have shortcomings as far as, you know, them really wanting to test certain things. I mean, they'll test a vaccine on us all, but certain things they won't. You know,
what's more profitable?
Exactly. So we'll poison you before we, you know, even osseointegration, which is new. It's the newest way of amputation. You know, I was blessed.
What is that?
This is where the implant is drilled into the tibia, or
and tibia sits where?
The tibia is your calf. You know, it's the
gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So
I didn't know if it was higher or lower.
No, it's drilled in, and then the foot attaches to it. And I was blessed to be even given the opportunity to, you know, have this chance in the United States. You know what? It was an opportunity that was given to me, and I'm grateful for it, you know. And you know, then, of course, you're going to say, well, you know, you can get infections. You can get this. You can.
You can get infections with anything,
You can get an infection with anything. You know what? They said, God forbid you got an infection and you had to take it out. Would you get it back in seconds? You know what? You got to measure the pros and cons. And the pros of this are amazing. You know, you're able to drive, you're able to walk. It's attached to you. You know, I only take my foot off the shower. You know, and I have an amazing doctor, you know, that gave me a chance to really show what this can do. What can this amputation do? You know, and you know, I use, you know, you know, I get tired and you know the disease runs me down, but you know, I use the hours that I have as best as I can. You know, so when I go to work out just to train, I feel better. You know, after that, your endorphins kick in. Like I've been having for the last like 16 days, I'm saying to my partner, my head is killing me. And she's like, you're having a tumor. I don't know what to tell you. You're going to have a stroke. That's it. It's got to be a stroke. You know, I'm like, I'm going to the doctor. I'm getting a CAT scan, blah, blah, blah. I have no headache when I'm working out. It's instantly gone. As soon as I walk down the steps, I get into the car. It's like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? You know, so I really believe that, you know, you can get yourself into like almost like a meditative state when you're working out because you're not focusing on anything else. You know, focus on your body and what it can do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward. I'm hitting chest tonight.
That's
so.
it. You see, and you should be. If you're not excited about it, don't do it. Why would you do something that you're like, oh my God, I don't want to lift today. I'm sore.
You know, it's one thing for being in good health and saying, I don't want to do it, and you go there and you bitch about it. It's another for somebody who doesn't want to do it, but they're unhealthy and they're trying to save their own life. Like a really overweight client, for example, says like, fuck, I don't want to do this, but you know what?
I have to.
It's good for me, and I'm going to put in the work.
Yes, put in the work. If you don't want to put in the work, don't sit on the leg press and moan and groan.
Yeah, put in the work because you have to, but keep your mouth shut.
Exactly. Don't talk. Just let everybody silence in the gym. Says silent gym. You know, and I went home and I was
it's
like,
it's like a church in here.
Wear your mask.
Yes, wear your mask and just be quiet. I said, oh my God, am I being like, I'm like, maybe it's a bad day, and I'm usually not like that. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'm being like really bitchy today. But I was like, no. You're literally, you know, you got somebody, you're paying somebody to work with you, and you're crying. I don't know why I came. I don't know why you came either. Funny. That makes two of us. I'm not sure why you're here because if it's not something you enjoy, why would you do it?
There's a Ralph's down the street. Hit
that. Hit that. It's right across the street. You're going to be fine.
Pick something up for me too.
Yeah. I mean, it's very easy. The easy way is great. It's great. And you know what? You can fly by very easily like most people. But why would you want to? If you're not uncomfortable, then what's going to come from it? You know, people are like, you know, my relationship is shitty. Then leave.
Yeah, well, that's what I tell everybody.
Leave your relationship. If it's shitty, you're not happy anymore, go.
I have friends that bitch about stuff like that, and I just go, okay, so why don't you break up with her? Oh, but like, I kind of love her, isn't that?
I kind of love her.
You kind of love her. Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, instead, be a man and end the relationship. Give her an opportunity to go meet somebody that's better suited for her, and you don't have to cheat and tiptoe around.
We are so complacent with comfortable.
Well, that's why it's easy when you break up with an ex. Like, I've had this a couple times. You break up with an ex, and then it's very easy in the following couple of months to get back together.
You know,
with them.
You see each other, and it's something you already know, and so it's easy. But to put yourself in a situation where you have no idea.
You mean I don't have to sit there and go, what do you do for work?
It's much easier. So, you know, when we're comfortable, we're just like, all right, we'll go into it. Going into something that especially, you know, a lot of amputees are like, I can't work out. You know, I'm not going to walk into the gym. Yeah, you know, it's a different situation than when you walked in with two legs. But it's I feel like it's a more rewarding situation because you see the progress. You see what you're capable of doing.
You know, you have somebody like that working out, and then you have people who allow themselves to get to 300-400 pounds and drive the scooters around Stop and Shop. You know what I mean? You were totally capable of turning your life around. But at some point you realize, fuck it, I'm okay. You look in the mirror, you're okay with that. Which
because it seems
I can't even understand.
So far away, you know, and it's I understand that. I understand that the way they think, you know, because I always, I can look at somebody, I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, I know it seems so far away, and how are you going to get from A to Z? You know, it's a long journey, and it's baffling how you're going to get there, you know, but slowly, you know, like I said, you just try. You know, even if you go into the gym and you ride for 5 minutes and you go, oh my God, that's all you did. You did 5 minutes more than you did yesterday.
It's okay to fail.
It's okay to fail as long as you're willing to try again.
Yeah, I bit the bullet this morning. I did cardio.
And he hated it.
It was okay. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I guess I'll say it. So, like last night, I indulged in a little bit of marijuana, and I don't smoke. Ever. Oh my God.
Marijuana, by the way, is actually such a great thing for people with CRPS. It's amazing.
And I had that on my list to ask you any type of self-medicating while you were coping with this. So I want to hear that. I am definitely not somebody who smokes pot. Just not my thing. I don't like feeling out of control.
Okay.
So On the flip side of that, I've probably only smoked like 8 times in my life. I've probably,
So this was a big day for him.
this was very big.
This is big. This is big. Oh, okay.
I looked at the dog. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna be looking at you different in a
I'm
couple minutes."
going to be eating your flounder. All right.
Eating the raw food.
Yeah.
So, I got it from somebody who is in the medical profession in getting medical grade, and he gave me a strain that's sativa. So I was like, well, maybe I'll see how I feel. It was kind of late though, so I kind of want to just relax. But maybe I'll try to edit something and see what it feels like, and blah blah blah. So I smoked a little bit of it, just trying to see. I did like half.
Gauging.
I did like half of a one hit.
Okay.
I'm like, don't feel anything. So I gave myself proper time to just see, and I started feeling good. Feeling very relaxed. In the past, I think because I've smoked with other people, it's been like a how high can we get Nick? So
This is great friend.
Yes. Every time it's been, well, the first time I ever smoked was, oh, well, you're 245 pounds or 250 pounds. So
you're going to have to smoke more.
So you get high.
More, yeah,
so my first time I was like, okay, whatever. And this was in
He's sitting in the corner with a cake and a fork and milk. Yeah.
This was in 10th grade, and I think I did something like 5 bong hits and 4 bowl hits.
And you were a different person.
I had to have them turn the TV off because the guy's head was freaking me out. So
okay. All right. So last night was better. It was a better experience.
Last night was definitely better. Where I would say in total, I probably took like 2.5 hits, if that. And I just felt super relaxed. But like this morning, I woke up and I was just like, I don't really feel like doing anything. But I said, let me get down there.
But real quick, I'm sorry. How'd you sleep?
I slept pretty good. I don't know about you guys, but I've been kind of getting into like a comatose lately.
No, no coma.
No
comas here. That's a you problem.
But I'm up and down. So I think it's because of the dog. I think because I hear him shift around the room all night.
He's destroying your sleep. Yeah, I have one of those too.
A little bit.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. I should have never.
Send him back to Japan. Enough of this shit.
Yeah.
I heard Japanese were nocturnal.
That's right. Yeah, he's up all night keeping you with him.
So, like for me, I hear him shift from the crate to the floor to the hall, this and that. If he hears something outside, he doesn't bark at the night, but you just hear him get up and get a little alert, like what's that? And then he goes back to laying down. I did sleep very well. I got myself super relaxed, and that was very nice because I haven't been like that in a while.
Then he was laying in bed like, am I going to die in my sleep?
No. The other times it was like that.
Yeah, am I going to die? Jesus.
The covers are eating me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can hear my heartbeat. This is a fucking problem.
Yeah.
So of course I was a little nervous because I've only ever smoked with people like that, and it's always been.
Now, if you died, you were alone, so this was going to be bad. It was just you and the dog's going to eat you, so it's over.
So it was always like it was always that feeling of, oh God, I'm so stressed. This time was not because I only did a little bit.
So it was a different situation.
It was very nice. My mom even came home. She's like, "You're stoned, aren't you?" I'm like,
"Mom knew." See, Mom really does know everything.
That was the answer to laughs.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there smiling. I go, "Yo, I could use a grilled cheese right now."
All right, see, it worked out well. This.
Yeah.
So speaking of recovery and speaking of that, now I've taken CBD flower before. I've smoked CBD flower, and it's good. I don't know if now that I've smoked real pot again, like because it's been probably 3 years since I smoked pot.
He's a changed man today.
Yeah,
it's totally different.
Oh God, I just feel relaxed.
Went to bed and he woke up so different.
My eyes are still clear today.
Yeah.
Have you smoked CBD flower and have you done both?
I have my medical marijuana card.
Cool.
It's especially with CRPS. One of the big things that you'll notice. Well, you won't notice, but when you go to the doctor, they're like, "We're going to give you methadone." Methadone. And yeah.
I don't want to say something incorrect. We're talking meth.
Methadone. So what you would use, like Suboxone, methadone, to come off of heroin, is a treatment for CRPS because that's how high the pain scale is, okay? In my opinion, which I'm going to get killed for this again, but if your pain is to a level that you need methadone, you're way out of the realm and the doctors are not treating you correctly.
Is that like a bull tranquilizer? Is that the kind of shit
like,
that it
like
does?
I've had ketamine infusions, recreational ketamine, K, where they say
that?
you're in a K-hole. And they use it as a recreational drug. It's a tranquilizer to put down elephants and different animals.
Jesus.
So what they'll do is they'll infuse you for about 7 weeks, sometimes 5 days in a row. Different doctors do it differently. I had about 12 of them. And it works. It calms your nerves, because it's so heavy duty. But you lose huge portions of your life almost because you're that high. And it lasts and lingers for so long. If you're in severe pain like that, and it's something you haven't tried, ketamine, the infusions, it's very much worth it.
So one dose of it, what is it? It's an IV they
It's
give
something
you?
that runs through your system, and I mean, a lot of people have cardiac issues. I ended up with leaks in my heart from it. That's how strong it is.
Oh,
Wow.
that's what caused the leaks.
Yeah, that's what caused the leaks. But it is when you're in when you're in a situation where
Mhm.
this, or this, okay, you got to pick the less of the evils. And this is something that's been notoriously known to help. So when people ask, what should I do? It's a very frightening experience though, because you hallucinate and you're given, extreme doses of Valium to keep you calm because you start to see things. And it's very frightening, so I had a friend who went for it and, literally had cardiac arrest from it, from just fear,
Wow.
absolute terror of what she was singing, because that's how strong it is.
So real quick, one dose of that, how long does that last?
This is how strong it is. As soon as they shut the IV, so if you say to them like, oh my God, my chest, because you can talk, but you can't see. Your eyes are almost pinholed, so you could see very little that somebody's in front of you. You can hear, but it's very echoey.
So it pinholes while they're doing the treatment?
Oh, yeah,
And that's normal.
And this is a normal thing. So you're usually knocked out. You usually knock out. For me, I didn't knock out, so I was awake for 5 hours of this. You can't really see. You're hallucinating the whole time. It's the nightmare.
I'm hating this whole
The whole experience is just like hell. Hating the whole thing.
I'm hating it.
As soon as the doctor comes over and they shut the IV, within, I would say, a minute, you're slowly come out of it. So it's very controlled in that sense. If you say, they start it and you're like, oh my God, they test it on you first. They give you like a bolus of it through an IV to see if, holy crap, something's going to happen. So it's very monitored. You're on heart monitors. You're being watched the whole time. I mean, it's something I recommend to people when you're saying, all right, well, now we're going to use a medication that gets people off of heroin. Well, that's extreme for me. I mean, there's people who do it. I had said to the doctors, I refused all opioids. It was not a journey I wanted to take for myself. When I start something, I'm very much addictive. It's like, okay, we're going to go all the way with this.
Yeah, then you'd have to dig yourself out of a second
And
hole.
Yeah.
even just coming out of the amputation, the phantom pains were bad, and you start taking one hydrocodone, and then you're like, the pain's back. And slowly, well, now you're up to 4 a day, and guess what? Well, now you got to come off of it, and coming off of it is not as joyful as taking them. You feel great, but then having to withdraw is really terrible. So it's not something that I even, during the surgery, that was it. I took it and then that was done. So people are like, hey, this is the most painful situation you could be in. But I've trained myself, to take Tylenol, to take, I take Cymbalta, which is, they use for depression, but it's used for, your neurological system. People will swear that it's terrible, but what works for you works for you. You can't really you got to base it on your own. You got to try this crap out. But everything has its risks, So I did all these ketamine infusions, and then slowly it was like, oh God, my heart started to act up, and people were like, well, now you need to be careful. I'm not gonna live my life, in fear of something's gonna happen.
Or are you just getting palpitations?
I was getting palpitations, my heart rate's always very high, So for me, cardio is like I'm at 157 with that, like the first 3 pushes. But it's kind of weighing the pros and cons of the situation. Do you want to take something that's you use to come off of drugs for the rest of your life? Because it's not really something you can stop. They use it as a treatment for CRPS because it calms the nerves.
The methadone.
Yeah, they do lidocaine treatments, lidocaine infusions to numb you. There's a lot of different things. External ketamine, anesthetics that you can put on your skin. There's a lot
I gotta
of
be honest with you, this sounds scarier than COVID.
It's a very frightening disease, and it comes on quick out of nowhere, and it changes your life. And the woman who kind of helped me. She's from the UK. She actually took her leg off because of CRPS first. I read her story, and she became such an inspiration to me. Like, genuinely just, was the reason that I was able to, she was like, you're going to be okay. And I hadn't met anybody, And, she now had slammed her hand and now has it in her hand after going through all of this.
Wow.
She was now walking, and now she's got it in her hand, and it's just such a heartbreaking situation to see somebody when you push yourself to such a level to get rid of something, and now just in an instant again your life changes again. So forever with this disease, you're kind of always on the seat of your pants, like what are we going to be in for next? What's tomorrow going to bring? So I tell people you got to go day by day. Just because you felt like shit yesterday doesn't mean tomorrow you're going to feel like shit. And on the days that you feel good, you go. But it becomes, you get into a depression where I'm not going to do that. It's not worth it, because even if I go to the gym today and I don't feel good for 2 days. So then, it's not consecutive, or it's more than you're doing before.
Absolutely.
And that's the biggest thing, is do more than you did before.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, you can still eat right and not go to the gym. It's what are you willing to
I
put
don't
in?
think people understand that one.
No, people are like, well, if I don't go to the gym, there's no point. No,
Yeah.
that's not how that goes at all.
It's called damage control.
It's if you're not, when you're in this situation, I get it fully. Same thing. It's easy to just, you sit on the couch, you're just happy for a day you're not in pain.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, if working out and moving your body is really the best thing for this. And they'll say I'm incorrect. You're taking a risk. You can be, you're taking a risk anytime you get in the car. You could slam your finger in the door, and guess what? You have it in your hand now.
Mm-hmm.
You got to really.
Driving the car, anybody can hit you.
Anybody can hit you. You're at risk. But what are you going to do in the time that you have? What are you? Sitting on the couch is not an option. It's just not an option for this disease. It's not an option it's not an option, period, for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Do something to better yourself. And the people get upset. I'm pro amputation. I'm pro non-opioids. I didn't have pain medication after my amputation.
Mm-hmm.
The leg was off. I didn't take pain meds during this. I came out, I felt fine. So just losing that limb took the pain away. And that goes to show how extreme.
Whereas most people would just be shoveling drugs down their throat.
But this is how extreme the disease is, that cutting the leg off. And I remember waking up and saying, it's gone. The pain is gone. And they were like, he said when the leg came off, you might feel it. I was like, oh my God, I had no pain anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, they were like, are you nuts? What do you mean? We just got your leg
Yeah.
off. And I was like, I don't need pain meds. It's all in your mind.
It's as if you were so used to such a more intense level of pain
that everything else is kind of like.
The little bit of stitches you felt right now were.
You know what? I didn't
Cool.
have pain until, down the road you get phantom pains.
Yes.
But other than that, it's really been very beneficial situation.
So now, prior to that, before the amputation, were you using marijuana for that, or were you
I
using
still
after?
use marijuana. That is my medical choice.
Cool.
I've stopped for a while now just because, I really,
You build up a tolerance,
and then you're like, okay, so
yeah,
working out has
pull
taken
the cart back a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
working out has taken,
I watched The Big Lebowski one too many times.
Yeah, you're just sitting there like, okay.
Anybody want a White Russian?
Yeah, you're watching Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and it's July. So you're like, but it does work, and I have the tinctures from Columbia in Riverhead. I have the medical marijuana. I have, but I don't allow them to give me opioids. So
Yeah.
that's something I steer away from with this,
Yeah.
which is the opposite for most people. You're taking painkillers daily. You're relying on nerve blockers. You're relying on, and then you can't come off because your body becomes dependent upon this stuff. And stopping it now puts you in severe withdrawals. Your body's in withdrawal. You're getting muscle cramps. You're getting atrophy. You're getting all this insanity going on. And they'll keep giving you something for each.
Of course they will.
You know, well, now I have a headache. Well, here's this. Well, now I have this. They're going to keep feeding you more and more crap until you don't feel very much of anything. But you're also not doing very much of anything.
One of the saddest things is most people spend their entire lives taking things to forget about their entire lives.
Yes.
It's I'm in pain. Well, pain's a normal thing, but what can I take to get rid of it? I won't remember. I'll be out of my mental state. Doesn't matter.
You need to really, and I tell people, you need to feel that pain. Even like I said, my friend who just got diagnosed with cancer. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster, and you're going to feel things, and it's important to feel, and it's important to cry, and holding these things in, it does raise your inflammatory markers and your body, and you're holding in all this. Almost, it's like a pressure. I said, you're like a pot, and it will pop eventually.
Yeah.
So better to just ride the waves of the emotions now than hold it in, and now you're making yourself sicker. We know what you're going to go through. You're going to be on serious medication, and it's important to just really, focus on what you're feeling that day. You can't plan for the future right now, so go with day by day.
And it'll make you it'll make you even healthier.
Yeah, I said, there's nothing wrong with crying. There's serious situations you're put in. Yeah, I mean, I was like, I had like 70 different mood swings in one day. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know what you're going to do, what you're going to feel, how it's going to work. So people really need to take the time to mentally be, clarity. You need clarity. And for me, this year has brought me a lot of clarity. So I really, like I had said, if you're whining to me, not that I don't listen or I'm not compassionate, because if you're telling, I'll give you the best advice I can give you. But if you don't want to take that advice then, and you want to continue to do what you're doing, that's okay too. But then don't call me again.
Exactly.
I'm not going to keep repeating myself. This is what you need to do to get to here. All right. If you said to me, I did those things, but it didn't work. Okay, well then let's find something else. Same thing, keto doesn't work for you. Well, then maybe you need carbs. I don't know. Why don't we figure it out? But if you just want to say, you know what, I'm just going to ride it the way it is, then ride it the way it is, but ride it that way.
Yeah.
Ride it back
I wish
this
you the
way.
best.
I wish you the best, and I'm glad we could work together.
Yep.
But, you got to have some room. Not everything's going to work for every person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a doctor either. So I'm going off of what I've personally put in my body, which if there's like a 1% chance that something's going to go wrong, it's going to happen with me.
Yeah.
So if I say, the medication seems pretty good, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So like, I give the best advice I can based on what I've personally experienced. Other than that, I have no idea.
So I just like quick side note and then say, so my
Go.
grandfather towards the end of his life, he was battling a lot with heart failure, and he was on dialysis, and he had a bunch of stuff going on. But prior to that, he had asked my coach, we had asked him, with everything that's going on with my grandfather, what do you think we should do? So now he's functional medicine guy.
Okay.
Totally against the norm for doctors.
Okay.
Super into keeping yourself healthy, moving, this and that. And he has a phenomenal track record with helping people alleviate or get rid of pain. Literally, he said, you need to take him. We sent him everything he was taking. He goes, you need to take him off these because these are counterproductive for each other.
Yeah.
These medicines that were his heart. One was raising the blood pressure. The other one was trying to take it down. Two of them were both doing the same thing, and the doctor was just
because
throwing.
You're just going. You're pulling at straws, and you know what? We'll keep going just because you know what? I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I really don't. So I'm going to keep going.
It's scary because the doctor literally had no idea what he was putting my grandfather on, and then towards the end, when we got the call that my grandfather was sent to the hospital from the nursing home, he was just not doing well. They were trying new pills on him and this and that. It was almost like he was a fucking guinea pig.
And that's what a lot of this is.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's what a lot
and years
of it is.
ago, when my coach told him to cut these out, start eating more leafy vegetables, do this, do that. That's literally like 2 years later. They said, yeah, he should have been doing this from a couple of years ago. And he was too afraid to jump off that stuff and listen to my coach, who's not a full doctor.
But it's amazing that you're more reluctant. I mean, even for me, like if they're like, take this vitamin, I'm like, oh shit, what's going to happen? But it says it's from this tree. I've never seen that tree before in my life. Oh my God, what forest is it?
Is that only in Africa?
Where is that tree?
I've never been there.
So you're like on there and you're like, oh my God, what's going to happen? You call but we're easier. It's easier to take something prescribed for some reason by the doctor.
Because you feel like the testing has been there.
Yeah.
You know what? And the FDA will literally, breast implants are filled with so many chemicals, yet we put them inside our body constantly. Breast implant illness is so real. Women have nervous breakdowns after having their implants in for 12 weeks. And they know that it's causing it. They know that that's the thing. But until the FDA says we're going to pull them because of these chemicals, they're going to continue to put them on, even though they're recalled. Sientra and those implants were just recalled. They changed one of the locks on them, one of the valves, and they put them right back out.
Of course.
And then the reps came in and said, you sell as many of these as possible, and well, you can go, blah, 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 blah. We'll give you this and this and this. You know what? The doctors will say, I'm friends with, that's exactly how it goes. When I had implants, I had them sent out, I had them looked at, they would check, but polyurethane came up in the smell that came out of these things, they are filled with chemicals, and as soon as you're in heat or anything, they leak. The chemicals come out of silicone. Silicone itself shouldn't be in your body. Your body instantly encapsulates these implants to protect you from what's in them. So when people remove their implants, sometimes they don't remove the silicone barrier that your body has formed. And that's what's filled with sickness now. You have these in you for 10 years. They've leaked for 10 years. I'm not talking about
cancer
rates.
rates.
I'm not talking about a huge leak where one of them blows. I'm talking about slow leaks.
Those are the ones that kill you.
Are in your
Slow
system.
ones.
Silicone is not meant. It's meant to cork a tub or a boat. It's not meant to be inside of you. And you know what? Until you experience these strange things and you meet women, 50, 60,000 women who have this sickness, and they're saying, you're full of shit. You know very well what you're placing in somebody. You know.
That's what scares me when I see a lot of the bikini competitors.
And the FDA approves it, knowing what's inside of them.
Yeah.
You know it's leaking. You know the heat makes it. I mean, even in a jacuzzi, they know that the pores open up and it leaks this chemical into your system. Now you're poisoning women, and you know that.
Yeah.
But until the FDA says, you know what, it's not, for the amount of problems there is, we make more money off of that.
For sure.
We're still making way more money, even though these women are sick.
And breast implants never saved anybody's life.
No. So this is
It's
is
not
what
something
you're
that needs to be
okay
there.
with. The
Right.
FDA will approve things very quickly. Is it good? You know, the FDA, you know, the spinal stimulators. I have a spinal stimulator in my back. I have a DRG that runs this leg. W- Well, they sell certain companies. Certain companies sell more. You know,
Mhm.
Medtronics, Boston Scientific, St. Jude. They're competitors. You know what?
Mhm.
Well, what do you have to offer? You know, I have St. Jude systems now. I've switched from the other two. But you're getting a lot of kickbacks. These are sold millions, even though you know that the leads migrate in the spine. You do have wires inside your spine. You know, everything has a risk. And their pumps have been pulled off, their pain pumps for blowing up. You know, it's not like little situations. These are huge things that the FDA said, you know what? They're okay though. It's
Good
only
enough.
happened in 3 women. So there's 3 women's lives were affected, but that's not our problem.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of things, the IUDs, all these things that are put in you that are not meant to be there that cause these huge inflammatory
Over
Mhm.
time.
responses. I mean, a couple of weeks with a pair of implants and people are already getting sick. You know, so it's the FDA is not our safety. People are like, but it's FDA approved. Oh, well.
What does that mean?
What does
And?
that mean to me? The FDA is about
It's
as
funny.
knowledgeable as I
Mhm.
am.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
I feel safer taking pre-workout that's basically crack than
Yeah.
I do
But you know what? The
opioids.
crack has been tested
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
than the opioids.
Yeah.
You know, opioids, okay, well, they didn't die. 50 of them came out okay, you know,
Mhm.
but this is what it is. Or, you know, even, you know, injections, these epidurals that you get constantly into your spine for these things, they cause your body to stop producing cortisol by itself. And
The
that
epidural's the pain, right?
yeah, you get these Kenalog injections and your cortisol stops. You go into adrenal insufficiency, and now you got a whole nother shit ton of problems, but you don't have pain in your back.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You know what I mean? So now everything is all off. The more shit you put in.
Mhm.
So slowly, you know, I've been telling people just stop. Stop one pill at a time and see which one is the actual one that's working and which one's causing the problems.
Mhm.
You know, you're gonna fill in the blanks by yourself. You don't need them to tell you this.
It's like Russian roulette.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what it is. And you know what? You know, they're gonna say you cannot come off of it. Well, why can you not come off of it? What is so what's gonna happen? Well, now your body's so used to this that it's not gonna adjust properly. You know, so
It's the same thing with steroids.
yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing with steroids.
Yeah.
Guys take massive amounts of it, and then they wonder why their body's not producing it when they come off of it.
Yeah. When you abuse them like that, for sure.
This is, you know what, you can't put all the stuff, human growth hormones, all these different things, you know what, after a while, and then you stop, and now you went back to being this big, you know, well, now
Oh,
you're
God, I see
sad
that
and
so-
depressed,
Yeah.
and, well, this is what happens. This is all not supposed to be there.
I see that.
It sounds like a bad horror movie.
It is a horror movie.
It's an organization everybody in the world trusts. They go take
The
this,
FDA,
but now you have to take it
FDA
forever.
approved, but you can't come off of it.
Mhm.
But why? You know, and nobody questions why. It's just, well, it's approved by the FDA, so we'll do
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Sure. Why not? That's
The-
normal.
The new weight loss thing that you swallow and then it blows up once it gets in your stomach and it keeps you from.
What?
It's a pill that you swallow and then it expands and it, you know, it will make your stomach smaller.
They sell them at Party City.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
a
helium
balloon.
balloon. We
It's a
blow
balloon.
it up. You know what? But this is, you know, people are at such a place that it's, you know, you
Mhm.
want a quick fix and you want you want to better your health. And I understand why they're doing it. And, you know, but, you know, there's these consequences that the FDA doesn't give a shit. Swallow this. It's going to be great.
Sure. Why not?
How do we get it out? We have no idea. I guess you have to fart it out. I don't know how you get it out after you get it in. But
Yeah, I'm seeing something called Plenity. Is a new FDA. It's not what you're saying. It's probably something different. Is a new FDA approved. There we go. There's that fraud ass line.
Test it on.
Tested on monkeys.
2 cats. Yeah, go ahead.
Approved medical device that claims to help lose weight by making you feel more full before meals. It is swallowed like a pill and has the potential to help the nearly 40% of people in the United States struggling with obesity. So are these 40%, are they working out? Are they doing any type of weight training?
No,
Are
this
they-
is just 40% who now swallowed this thing that's gonna blow up
Yeah.
inside of them.
How about this? If you want to feel full before you eat something, drink a bunch of water before you eat something.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
You know what? We want such a quick fix, and I get it. We all want a quick fix, but
Oh,
you
there's
know
a
Wouldn't
what?
that be
There's a new
nice?
gel to aid in weight loss as well from the FDA.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Gastric balloon that can
That's
be
it.
swallowed.
That's it. You swallow it
Oh,
and
I've
it
heard this.
expands.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is fucking terrifying. Pill that inflates in the stomach helps users lose a stone. They're using UK
terms.
Oh, lose
I-
a stone
I'd
in a
hope.
month.
One whole
I'd
stone, a
hope.
kidney stone is what you're gonna lose.
What is a stone? I've looked it up in the past.
I don't even know what a stone is, but
Well,
I'm sure
I
when
feel
you're
like
done with
it's-
that balloon, you're gonna have more than stones.
I want to say 68 pounds, and I don't know why.
14.
I'm wrong.
You were way wrong,
I'm
Johnny.
wrong.
When you're done,
I was.
off.
Over-
He's part of the
Oops.
FDA now.
He
With
was,
60.
he was overzealous.
So you're gonna swallow the balloon, you lose the 14 pounds.
The Abalon does not require invasive surgery like other weight loss procedures. It allows the patient to swallow a pill containing a deflated balloon. The pill is connected to a tube, which is used to inflate the balloon once it's in place.
And then how do you get it out? You fish for it?
The tube is then removed via the mouth.
You call a friend and you're like, open your mouth. I got you.
The tube is then removed via the mouth and the pill dissolves.
Yeah,
The balloon sits at the top of the stomach, giving a feeling of
If it
fullness.
holds a balloon in it, what the hell dissolves inside of you?
So I was pretty close. It's basically from Party City.
Party City, yeah. You swallow a balloon, you have a friend blow it up, and that's it. But this is to the extent.
Oh, wow. It has to be removed after a few months, but it aims to help people make the lifestyle changes needed to keep the weight off. On average, patients lose first 3 pounds in 12 weeks, and then the balloon is aimed
The
at
first
people
3 pounds?
in 12 weeks. I
3
can lose 3
pounds?
pounds in a week.
Just 3
Easy.
pounds in the bathroom
Yeah.
in the morning, Jesus.
That's why I don't weigh myself till after.
That's it. I mean,
On average, patients lose first 3 pounds in 12 weeks, and the balloon is aimed at people with a BMI of 27, not considered large enough for weight loss surgery. You know what's funny? I actually,
interesting.
That's a bad one.
I'm considered obese based on weight to
So am I,
everything
yeah.
ratio.
well,
and-
the FDA, I'm sure, is in charge of BMI scales as
Yeah,
well.
they hate-
and
they
you know
hate
what?
me.
This is
They hate
another.
us.
This is another problem because then you have women looking at this, and you're going again. We were talking about the facade with things.
Mhm.
You're looking at a one cut situation, and now, it's like, Jesus, and then I'm morbidly obese. And you're teaching young women that this, even men, you're teaching young kids. This is what I have to look like. This is what I have to do in order to be a successful, person. This is who I have to be, and it's fake.
Have you seen? I actually like him. People might roast me for this. I like Zac Efron.
I love Zac Efron.
Yeah,
I think he's
he's a
dope.
good guy.
I think he's dope.
I do.
I love his new show on Netflix.
I
Have you
haven't seen it, but I
Me
know it's
neither have I.
the nature one.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Okay, so he got a little grizzly look going to him. He's got the beard. He's got some chest hair. My man's out here. A
He's
little,
going-
little soft. Not like raw. You look at him in that, and you look at him in Baywatch, and like you talk to young men, especially, or you talk to other guys like, yo, I want to look like Zac Efron in Baywatch. I go, I don't think you understand how much fucking shit they had him on for him to look like that. Did you see that?
You know what was funny was so remember I told you about the turkey shakes and the beef and the chicken shakes and everything, right? So that idea.
Does she know that?
I don't know. What
this
is
is the
this?
whole
Is
thing.
this another
Say it real
balloon?
quick.
Basically, I have a big problem eating food. Not that I can't eat it, but
Okay.
deviated septum. Then I'm a mouth breather. My throat's always dry because of my voice. So
Okay.
it's so it takes me forever to eat a meal. Like it's a chore to go out to dinner with me. So if I was gonna eat something, it would take me fucking forever.
That's why I don't hang out with him. That's
Yeah.
He's a problem. He's a
Yeah,
problem.
I'm a nuisance.
Are you blending chicken?
With not anymore, but I was blending. There were turkey shakes.
Oh.
It'd be 8 ounces of turkey with water, blend it
There's
up,
the,
slam
there's
it
the,
down.
that's the diet plan right there.
But I would get it down in 30 seconds
Oh.
instead of
I would get it out in 30 seconds.
instead of 30 minutes.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. I acclimate I believe a lot of my results came from what I do before bed every night. Every night I have a beef shake.
A beef shake.
A beef shake.
Tell me what's in that.
I want you to put your mind to it. So it's red
Okay.
meat and
Ooh.
water, and that's it.
It's cooked? I hope.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Good.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Because then you're going to, okay.
Yeah.
The FDA didn't
I'm not on
approve
the-
that
I'm not on
raw
the
meat.
Kenji
Okay,
diet.
all right, go ahead.
I'm not on Kenji's diet. But anyway, the way I always saw it was red meat is the most anabolic food in the world. Right? You give me this weird face right now. You're going to have to hear me out.
Go ahead. Go
This
ahead.
is
All right, all right.
judgy.
Judging you.
I'm prejudging you. I'm not
That's
going to.
okay.
All
Okay,
right,
good.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So most anabolic food in the world in terms of muscle growth. And the problem with it is that it takes so long to digest in the body.
Okay.
Now, I already did that part for it. So it goes
Oh,
in.
God, because
and
it's
s-
blended.
and-
Jesus Christ. Yeah, got it.
And then it just goes immediately to synthesis.
Synthesis.
Synthesis
Got
right
it.
before I go to bed. So it's just getting absorbed all night and utilized instead of trying to break it down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine? Can you
right now
imagine
you're right now you're
Could you
thinking.
imagine him?
Why
in
the
that?
fuck?
I had a cup of tea last night.
Why
He's
the
drinking
fuck did
a
I-
shake of beef before.
say-
I chewed it already. So yeah, he
I'm
called
gonna-
you over.
I'm gonna stay over his house one night.
Can I get one of those beef shakes?
1 a.m. He's gonna be at the kitchen with a fucking T-bone in the blender. Like, John, shut the fuck up.
What do you make this? Is this like chopped
Ground beef, ground beef,
ground
ground beef.
Are you still doing this?
Every night.
Every night.
Every night before bed.
I'm gonna have to try this. Somebody told me to drink egg whites. It's just the
I,
sheer
dr- I
thought
drink
of
egg
it.
whites every morning. That's
Oh, that's.
I
That's
used to,
child's
I used to
play.
use.
He has a zero palate.
I
His
used-
palate is dead.
I used to use
I have,
muscle
I have
egg.
COVID.
Yeah,
can't taste.
he can't taste
Can't
anything.
taste anymore.
You got the vid.
This is the vid, the Rona.
I used to use muscle eggs. You ever heard muscle eggs?
No, I
They were
haven't.
already the
They're
pasteurized eggs. They're
Somebody
good.
at the gym told me you got to
good, but they're
try
so
to
expensive.
take, egg white.
They're flavored.
Just the thought A flavored egg white?
Yeah, they're
No.
flavored. No, to drink them.
Oh.
No, it's actually really good,
Uh-huh.
but they give you the farts like crazy. So
Yeah,
I stopped.
they're synthesized, pre-synthesized. My friend chewed them and spit them out for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what flavors they got.
Oh, all right, here we
But
go.
yo,
That's a lot of flavors.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That Zac Efron picture was nuts, though.
Yeah.
So poor Zach. So all the boys want to look like Zac Efron, and Zac
They don't
Efron's
realize
not
that
real.
They don't
right
realize
there.
that Zac Efron
Yeah.
was chewing Clen for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
There we go. You see?
Yep.
This is what it is. It's a facade of what we're supposed to act, look, and it's based off of a chart that goes for every human being in the world, the same chart.
It's funny. That chart was like a goal for me. I saw for my height, 198 was obese. I'm like, I want to be obese, but I want to be in shape.
He's fighting it. He's challenging the chart, the chart challenger. Look, he's looking up the flavors.
I am.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Uh-huh.
They had like birthday cake and
With eggs.
See, what's so funny is you came in here like, hey, this is a nice setup, and now you're like, why the fuck did I come
What's wrong
in?
with these two? Why are they drinking beef?
blending
What the
beef,
hell's
he's
happening?
drinking
He's
eggs.
drinking eggs, flavored eggs, birthday cake eggs.
Yeah.
Look,
Delicious though.
they're scrumptious.
We're gonna have to tell Muscle Leg they got to switch their.
It must let send the check.
Yeah, send the check.
That's
Actually,
it. That's
don't
it.
send the check. Reinvest
Are these
it in your
egg
site.
whites? Are these egg whites?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, muscle egg white shake.
Liquid egg whites.
Ooh.
It's almost like the gallon
All
too.
right, so they got they're
gallon of them,
So they
huh?
have chocolate, they
Ooh.
have cake batter, vanilla, fruit cereal. So it's as if you're
Oh,
you're
fruity
drinking
pebble,
like
fruity
Pebble.
pebble
Yeah.
eggs. I like that. That's a sexy one.
chocolate mocha
Uh-huh.
original. So I guess that's just tastes
That
like
just
ass.
tastes like ass. Yeah, that
It's
was
overpriced egg
That's the
whites.
synthesis process. That one, straight up synthesis.
the organic, so that just tastes like ass
Okay,
again.
got it.
Strawberry, key lime pie, and mint brownie.
Wow,
Mm.
mint brownie, all with egg.
They charge.
Yeah, let's.
It's expensive.
Well, after you promoted it, it should be free.
It should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I told you.
How
This is
much
why
are
I
the
drink my
eggs?
egg
I
whites.
forgot how much they were.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
2 gallons is $75.
2 gallons. I'll go with your beef chew.
I'll take it.
You know what? I'm gonna be in the kitchen blending beef now. Yeah.
Joke's on you. You're gonna love it.
That's it. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna be like, this is the way. This is the way.
Yeah,
You're
that is
gonna-
wild.
70
There's
bucks.
definitely like a lot of stuff in there that I just wouldn't want in egg whites though.
Nick, it's egg whites that taste like chocolate. It's
Yeah,
gotta be-
so it's
gotta be-
something wrong. This is FDA
It's as
approved
simple as
too.
that.
This is more a crap.
Pasteurized.
be.
So
Uh-huh.
the ingredient list is as follows: pasteurized, cage-free egg whites, less than 2% of natural and artificial flavors, dextrose,
Oh, good.
natural flavors, artificial flavors, silicon dioxide,
See?
There you go.
anti-caking agent,
Anti-cake. That's for your birthday cake.
KX. What is that?
That's crack.
KX
Synthetic crack.
KX-ED. So you get erectile dysfunction with it too.
Yeah. Look, he can't even pronounce it. That's the shit.
That's the problem.
Konjac gum, xanthan gum, stevia, and sucralose. Why do I need 2?
And how much is egg whites at the store? $2?
$2.
$2.
Well,
I think
for
you
the
should
container-
stick with the.
yeah, I think I should just continue with
think
those.
Yeah, let muscle milk or whatever the hell they call it, muscle egg.
See, that falls into something I've always believed in terms of like living a healthier life. And I say it on the podcast a lot.
Say it.
I call it the one diet.
Go on.
Basically,
One ingredient. That's
Hey.
that.
it. That's it. If your food has more than one ingredient, it's not food. If you have a salad with a bunch of different things, but each thing is one ingredient, that's fine. Throw some Caesar dressing on in a bottle that should have a shelf life of 2 years. It's not okay.
Little vinegar, little balsamic.
Little oil
something.
vinegar.
Yeah, that's
Done,
it.
that's fine.
That's it. You know what? I think that that's going to be seen as we go on. That CRPS is going to come from the gut as well. I think the gut's going to play a lot of, because you have a lot of people who they're also very quick to put a feeding tube in. Because you lose your appetite. You get gastroparesis or different things, and so they'll put a feeding tube in. You put a feeding tube in a 23-year-old. Well, now you've made it so that they can't swallow. If you are not using these muscles, no matter what the muscle is, you don't use your vocal cord, you don't use your throat, that's it. You can't allow these doctors to take the reins and say, this is what you're going to do.
It's a full-time feeding tube or it's temporary?
No, it's a full-time feeding tube.
Ooh.
They're very quick to do this, very quick to do such drastic.
Well, they're very quick to start fucking traking people and putting ventilators, and the ventilators were
knowing that they're
really killing
knowing that
people.
it's not good. You know what? Where it's scary. It's scary that you trust your physician, and I'm not saying all physicians, because like I said, I have great physicians, but you trust these people that they're looking over things, and you know what? They are human, and there are errors, and there are errors every day. I mean, for me, when this happened again, I was like, no, how could you have 2 malpractice issues in one lifetime? I mean, it's unbelievable. You hear these stories about people that, they went in for surgery and they left this or that. Then when it's you're like, are you kidding? This is not just a TV show. This is real life, But But doctors make mistakes, and you know what? It's sad when they don't want to be accountable. You know, I wasn't awake. I wasn't the one who did the procedure. We were in this situation because of you, not because of me. You know, and that's where you get a little angry when it's a situation like this because you were the one who should have been on the ball. You know, you should have done your research. You should have known what was going on. And now here we are. My life changes, your life doesn't.
Yeah, you get to go home.
Malpractice
totally
insurance protects you so that you're not affected personally. But my life then still is affected personally. And how do you put an amount on a whole life change? You know, it's not just you lost your leg. It's, you know, I have a nephew who was 4. He was 3 at the time. You know, it was traumatic for him, traumatic for your family, traumatic for friends. You know, it's a whole life change, just the way you have to see yourself. You know, in the beginning, I had this done in the winter, so I didn't have to wear shorts. So when summer came around, that was a big adjustment for this year to have to put on shorts, and now, shit, you don't have a leg. And of course, you get the person who's like, you know, I would have thought they would have given you a cover because that's so unattractive.
Really?
And all of a sudden, you're just like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to go to jail.
Yeah,
You're just like,
I'm gonna have to take this off and bash them with
or,
it.
or you know,
Jesus Christ,
earlier today, I had somebody when I was getting in the car and was like, I didn't know amputees were allowed to drive. And you're just like,
Who the fuck are these people?
and you're thinking to yourself, this is why you need to take the mask off because your oxygen level is so low that you're now stupid, you know? And, you know, I call my partner with these stories and she's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, this is the place that we're at, that people no longer have a filter where you just say what you feel. You know, even if you act like an asshole, you know, you're just saying exactly what you think comes to you. You know, so I said, of course we can drive. You know, people without legs drive. You know, no.
Hand.
Look at all the dings on your
Is this
car.
your first day here on this earth? What's wrong with you? You know, but people will come out with comments, and you know, you got to really learn how to react. You know, but then you have something like I was at the paint store, and a little boy tugs on my shirt, and I look down, and he's like, "Are you a robot?" And at first I'm like, who the hell is this kid? I'm like, and you know, he's like,
Guardians.
And the mother's like, you know, the sister's with him, and she's like, oh my God, you know. And so the mother comes over and she's like, I'm so sorry. And the kid's still like hyped, and he's like, are you related to Iron Man? You know, so then I'm like, yes, I am, you know. And, you know, then the kid, you
I'm
know,
his
the
cousin,
kid's-
they keep you back at the shop.
exactly. Yeah. I'm his long lost cousin. And he, you know, he was so excited, you know, so I buy him this toy, and he's like, oh my God, this is my first toy from a robot. You know, so you get these adorable reactions.
until he's 50 and he's fighting the androids off.
That's right. He's like,
I'll never forget when the first one bought me a toy, and these are not as nice.
This is, you know, but everybody's reaction is different. But you'll see more, you know, the people like, you know, kids are going to react. Kids are very resilient as well. My nephew is like, I like this leg better, you know, because you can do this, 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 and this. For a 4-year-old to be able to rationalize this and an adult not is the frightening part to me.
Yeah.
When they
that just shows how mentalities are trained for a lot of people and taught instead of them just allowing it to become from experience.
Well, that's like, you know, I don't know why my child acts this way. Well, do you have a mirror? That's why he acts this way, because it's allowed and this is how you act. You know, they don't learn this from nothing, you know. So, you know, I was in the store with my nephew, and he's like, oh my God, that guy's so fat. And, you know, I had to sit down with him, and I was like, you can't ever say that. I said, because, you know, he could say, well, look how short you are. I'm like, oh, look at your hair. Why's your hair like that? And he kind of was like, oh my God. I said, if you know, you have to teach.
The train goes both ways.
You know, and he was like, I didn't know that. They're going to say that to me. And I was like, yeah, you want them to make, you know, but yeah, I said, I got to talk to adults now like a 4-year-old. You expect it from a 4-year-old. You don't expect a grown adult to say, you know, but I respect it more when they come to you and say, what happened? You know, rather than, don't stare. I said, most amputees will be like, yeah, this is what happened. And then you get the person that said, was it a shark? No. That's very rare. We don't have a lot of sharks.
I'm going to be 1,000% honest with you. I still haven't looked at your leg. Since you've been
you want to see it?
Yeah, I'll see
right,
it.
Can we get this one? Can
we can. I still haven't looked at your leg.
Lay it on the table.
So let's say, so this is the leg. This is the leg. So this is osseointegration. So this is new. So this is, I always have this with me. So people are like, why are you carrying this giant Allen cake, right? So this is how osseo goes. This will, if you can get it off, you know what I mean? So you take this thing and you undo the foot, and this is it.
There you go.
Look at that.
Look at that.
It. So you're left with this pole that attaches to.
That's some hardware right there.
That's some hardware, you know, and for the longest.
So now, did they put a bracket in there?
This is it. This is what sticks out. This is the pipe that sticks out.
And so the skin around it is.
That's my skin.
Really? So there's
That's
nothing.
my
There's
skin.
no
So
extra pieces.
There's nothing that's, you know, hanging. You don't get sores like most amputees who have a socket. They have sores and they have pressure ulcers. I don't get any of that. And that's it.
Boom.
That's it. You're done.
Yeah.
Running feet, you switch to those, you switch, you got to be prepared that, when you go away or something like that, you need a foot to go in the shower. You can't put this one in water. So you have a foot for water. Every foot is about $20,000.
I remember we were talking about all that.
Depending on what there's a lot of expenses for things that people don't realize. You're going to need.
Well, they just automatically think you're covered for everything now. Then
you're
that's
not
not the
covered
case.
for anything. Nothing. Some people get 1 foot for their entire lives, I was told. So if you're an amputee at 5 years old, well, then obviously you're going to grow.
Yeah.
And they have to fight with these insurance companies, and these parents have to fight, and you're constantly arguing with different healthcare providers to cover things that should be covered. We're in the United States. We should be covered.
Yep.
People have worked their whole lives, and now you have children who are in these situations, and you're not getting what you rightfully deserve. So it's a mess all the way around.
Yeah, that's super unfortunate because, like you said, we're in the United States. You'd expect that certain things would be given, not maybe given, but subsidized at least.
And that was the reason we opened CRPS Amputee Warriors, was to, first of all, advocate for people who can't, try to help as best as we can, and also educate these doctors and hospitals because people have no idea. If you are in this situation, you know what's going on. But if you're not, you kind of like, I never heard of that disease. I never heard. What do you mean? And then they look it up and they're like, it's the most painful neurological disease in the world. And you're like, what? How have I not heard of it? MS, takes precedence because for the longest time they had, what's his name? Montel Williams was big names. We have Paula Abdul. That's not getting,
really.
That's not getting us very far.
No, but I had no idea.
Paula Abdul was in that plane accident and ended up with CRPS. And, that's why she still performs, but she just recently fell off the stage.
Oh, God.
And, she's on medication and she, lost distance and things like that. And her equilibrium was off and she fell, and it's like, there's a football player, I forget his name, who has it as well, so you're slowly starting to hear names, but we don't have that big personality to back it up. It's not
Which is
like,
sad that you need that just to get
that's unfortunate.
recognition.
It was kind of bad because Lady Gaga came out, she ended up with fibromyalgia, and the whole time I'm like, please tell me she has CRPS because Jesus, we need you. You know what? But it was like, when they can't figure something out, that's the first thing they'll say. You have fibromyalgia. That's their big go-to. I have no idea. You have fibromyalgia. This is what you should do. See this doctor. Blah 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 blah. So there's not much digging after that. They gave her that diagnosis, and she's now the face of fibromyalgia. I'm like, when we got Paula Abdul. It's not that great.
I can't believe she fell off a stage. I didn't even know she was still performing.
She performed for a little bit until she fell off the stage. Walked right off. So I was like, I guess she didn't look at the stage beforehand. But she does. There's a few of them that have CRPS, but nobody who's, put their face out there to be.
Nobody with a big enough name.
Yeah, nobody with a big enough name. Unfortunately, was what you need. Look, he's looking it up. He's like, did she fall off the stage?
Seven celebrities with chronic pain. How Hollywood stars heal.
Once you get through about 30 advertisements, you can find out one of them.
Yeah, eating children, drinking blood, all sorts of things.
Maybe that's the secret.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman, fibromyalgia.
If you can't figure it out.
George Clooney, chronic back pain. Yo, George, just deadlift a bit, bro. You'll be all right. Elizabeth Taylor, scoliosis.
She's not even alive anymore.
Jennifer Grey, chronic neck pain.
That's the
Jackie
chronic
Chan,
pain.
back pain. I don't know. Have you seen him do any of his own fucking stunts? That's nuts.
I wonder why.
I wonder why he's got back pain.
That's why. He hasn't used it.
Late 90s. Lady Gaga, fibromyalgia. Paula Abdul, CRPS.
Paula Abdul. You know what? And I was hoping, Paula Abdul was going to come out and be like a big advocate. She still got clout. And it was dead silence.
Actually, they said it was from a cheerleading accident at 17.
Oh, well, you know what? She was in a cheerleading. Then you're in a plane crash. You're going to say it was from the cheerleading accident? Your airplane falls from the sky? It was cheerleading that day.
She got a good check from Southwest.
Yeah. I'm like, that's exactly why. She was in a plane accident.
Yeah, it was not until 2004 that she was diagnosed with CRPS.
Yeah. But cheerleading back in, 82 was the one that did her in.
Must have been that uniform.
Yeah, it was detrimental for her life.
So I want to know, what was it like going into the gym for the first time after everything?
You know what? It took me, I had the opportunity for quite some time. It took a while to be like, you know what, all right, I'm ready to do this. Because I had an infection situation going on. And I was like, I didn't want to go into it until I was sure that I could mentally give my all to it. And you know what? The opportunity was just a blessing because, you know what, it helps me to, again, to get more clarity in my head of what I can do. And like I said, I don't really say what I can't. I have to, luckily Paul is able to, he really knowing the body the way he knows it, and he's just such an amazing guy. He puts his knowledge towards, what, you can do it. You know what? And if you fail, you can still do it. So it's been really an enlightening situation on, and plus when you see people in there, and it's still bizarre to me when somebody comes up to me and like, you're so inspiring. And I'm like, what? About what? What am I inspiring you to do? Well, you're here. I'm not an exceptional person either. I'm just a person dealing with life. I don't do anything magnificent.
Rolling with the punches.
That's it. I said, and people, when they come on, I'm just like so baffled. Like, why? What? I still feel exactly the same way I did before. Maybe I'm a little bit more humble now and grateful for the things that I have. So when I go into the gym, it's like, my partner's like, you're still there. And it's like 2 hours of just, some people do yoga, some people meditate, but it gives me, I don't feel sick when I'm there.
Mental clarity.
I feel like, okay, you know what, my body was able to do this, and I'm grateful for how far it got today. And then, if I wake up sore, people are like, you're going to take the day. No, I don't want to take the day off. Because you know what? I've taken a year off. I had a year of my life taken from me. In the blink of an eye, I couldn't move. So for me, no, I don't want to sit. I don't want to sit down. Some people, you want to relax. I relaxed enough.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to relax again.
It's work time.
Yeah.
I want to see what can I do? What am I capable of doing in this new life? I don't want to cut my journey short. I don't want to say I'm never going to do that or I can't do that because, at first I was like, well, my body, the dynamics now are not for, you can't squat. Well, with the bag on my shoulders, I can, or in this position, I can, or holding on, I can. People are very quick to say, I cannot do that. I won't be able to do it ever again. And ever is ridiculous. Never is ridiculous. You're always, you're going to be able to do it just a different way. So there's like certain squats, the hack squat I can't do because my leg doesn't go that way, but I can do something different, so it's really adjusting to this new life and this new body, and they're like, well, it's your leg, it's my leg. Yeah. I didn't lose my brain, I lost my leg.
Yeah. Do you have something to say?
Yeah. Now, you said you broke 2 of those already, right?
The prosthetics
Yeah.
could only hold a certain amount. So the
I wanted
pressure,
to really, because this was the gym, right? I wanted to go into all of this with you because it's super interesting.
They were not able to necessarily, they've never been put to the test with an osseointegration. They've been tested with sockets. And, I think the pressure, it wasn't used to it. And plus the way you walk, the way each person walks is different. So the way I apply the pressure is different than the way somebody else would. And these are usually used with sockets. So this is like a first for this. So just learning the feet, how they work with the machines, even cardio. And, you can't run with this foot. So I was just given the permission to try to start running, which hasn't been done. There's not a lot of people who run with this because you're putting pressure on the implant itself.
Pounding pressure.
Right.
So it's something we're going to test. And I was willing to say, I'm willing to see what I'm capable of doing. I don't want to be told I can't do something. Because especially when you can't run in these prosthetics, you kind of feel like, God forbid something happen. Well, what do I do? So being physically able to handle a situation is important because you don't have that ability to just disappear now. You can't run. Each foot, people think, oh, you got this foot, and now you can run, walk, you're going to the top, you're going to this. Every accessory, there's an accessory for everything. If you want to run, you need a foot. If you want to go in the shower, you need a foot. If you want to go to the beach, you need a foot. Some feet can't be around sand. Some feet can't handle this, so everything requires a different accessory. There's a flipper for swimming. The prosthetics guys like, you want the flipper? And I'm like, the day you see me at the beach with one shoe and a flipper is never going to happen. Okay, so I don't need that. But even, swimming, just learning this summer, I jumped in thinking like, okay, I had no foot on. I sunk to the bottom like a damn rock. And I'm like, this is how it happens. I made it all this way, and I'm going to drown to death now. So, you're so used to 2 feet. Now I'm like pumping with the one leg to get up with my arms. Enough. And you're like, oh my God. But you're not, it's like the little things. And I have friends who are swimmers who are amputees. I'm like, you didn't think to tell me this? And they're like, but did you die? And I'm like, no, but I almost died.
I went right to the bottom.
I was
cleaning the filter out.
That's it. I was like, holy crap, what the hell's happening? But all these little things, they cost money for every activity you want to do. And it's expensive. And you have to account that you're going to change these feet every 2 to 3 years. So you
change them every 2 to 3 years because of maintenance?
Maintenance, you have to maintain them. You go, it's like, I'm going to take my foot in for a tune-up, and you take your leg off, and they take it in the back, and they give it back to you. And it has to be oiled, and it has to be adjusted, and depending on your weight, as your weight changes, muscle changes, the foot then compresses. So, muscle shifts a little bit differently, so the foot needs to be changed constantly.
Gotcha.
So the body, just the way the body moves and the way, muscle moves, is very different. So it's constantly being changed, constantly being tuned up. But yeah, going into the gym was, a little intimidating when you don't have a
Yeah, I'm
leg. You're
sure.
like, what the hell am I going to be able to do now?
Mhm.
But you know what? I was like, all right, let's put it all into it and see what happens. And it's been great. Like I
Yeah.
said, he's so knowledgeable about what is going on, and the opportunity was just, I really couldn't pass it up. It would have been ridiculous, So, but I meet a lot of amputees who are like, I'm not walking into the gym like this. This is your life for the rest of your life, and either you
Mhm.
become comfortable with yourself, or it's going to be really hard. So at this point, when I first had it done, I was kind of like, I'm going to keep it covered. And now I'm like, I rarely cover it. You know what? It's not a big deal. I do have a cover to protect it in case, certain things, I don't want to touching it. But other than that, I've become very okay with the fact that this is what it is.
Mhm.
And I don't really let it upset me. There's not really, I don't wake up with a day where I'm like, I'm staying home today, or
Yeah.
I'm not going
Yeah.
to do this, or I'm not going to go to the store, or, because I remember for the longest time, I was like, I just wish I could wait on a line. And thanks to COVID, I can now, So, waiting on these lines, I see people like losing their shit and they're like, oh my God, I gotta get it. And I'm like, just grateful that I'm standing here, and I can stand and sit for 25 minutes because before, you get relying on somebody, being dependent on somebody to push you around, and you can't just run to the store and you can't just do this. Was a whole life change,
Mhm.
So people are so, you don't realize what you have until
Till
you don't have it.
till
It's the
it's
truth.
gone.
And
Right.
it's so cliche, but it's the truth, losing it all is like now the greatest blessing I ever had because you know what? I look at, and I can see other people, and their struggles affect me differently. I'm not like, okay. And or somebody will be like, I don't want to moan or grunt in front of you because I feel bad making that noise when you're not. It's not like a challenge between pain. You know,
Mhm.
you're
Yeah.
working your ass off. You grunt because
Yeah, you're doing
you're
your
pushing
thing.
all this weight. You're doing your thing. What is that?
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to lift it. I don't care how you lift it. But you know what? If you're sitting on the machine and you're on the phone and you're wasting time,
Yeah.
you know what? What are you doing here?
Exactly.
So that part has become a little aggravating.
But rightfully so.
You know what? Don't do something you're not passionate about.
Do you use a leg extension?
We just actually started because of the way the implant is.
Because I was going to ask, I feel like pressure on that would cause a bowing effect into the actual
You know
implant.
what? We've been watching it. Well, Paul's been watching it
Yeah.
very carefully, and I mean, really he knows to the T exactly what's
Mhm.
going where. So if I feel any pressure or anything, which I haven't, thankfully, I've had no issues
wood.
with any kind of extensions or any kind of pressure on the legs. So it's been good. But the osseointegration is very new.
Mhm.
And it's all testing and learning and seeing what it can do. And, I was telling Paul that, they want to get rid of doing it below knee and only do it where it goes into the femur because the femur is stronger to hold it,
Mhm.
which is ridiculous. You know what? Same way you break your tibia when you fall with a regular leg is the same situation. You hit anything perfect, it's going to break.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to prove that, this is going to be okay. Let people have the opportunity.
Would that be something down the line where if they did show that was way better, would that be something that you would ever want or have to
Well,
go
this
through?
is for the above knees. This is if you're an above knee amputee.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Above knees would go into the femur.
Gotcha, okay.
But there's no reason for them to cut doing below knee because it's a perfect procedure.
Cool. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all what you put into it, it's what you get out of it.
And nobody's gonna put more work into that than you are right now.
That's it. I'm trying to.
You're the standard. If you don't break it, it's not gonna break.
It's not going to break. I mean, I'm not feeling any kind of
Yeah.
breakage happening. I knock on wood.
I need a Spartan kick in slow motion on
That's
YouTube.
it.
That's what you
I
gotta do.
think so far so good.
Oh, you think this is weak? And just Spartan
Yeah,
kick someone out.
so far it's so good. You know what? It's new. It's being tested. I'm testing it. And hopefully, a lot of amputees will be able to get it. And then, no more socket, no more rashes, no more taking the leg off. It'll help a lot of people, I think, mentally
Cool.
feel a little more together.
So tell me, how can people listening help you guys spread awareness, just bring more to you guys? If there's ever any, do you guys have any events? Like,
You know what? We're going to start doing events. I was going through all this, so I had, my own stuff to get through. So we had opened the nonprofit. On Instagram, you see it. It's CRPS Amputee Warriors. There's a Facebook page for it. And then if you want to donate through Facebook, there's links for that as well. And you know what?
But you know what we could do? We could actually do when we share the video
Mhm.
and we share clips, we can actually put a donate button on there, and we'll link it right to
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys as
sounds
your fundraiser.
good. Yeah,
So,
no, it's
instead if somebody wants to donate something, they can just click that link and do it right through there.
sounds good. I
Nice
have
and
people
simple.
who are always, they Venmo and things like that. So we take checks, we take anything.
Mhm.
It's all going to go for that, and everything is going to be used to really go into the hospitals and teach the doctors
Cool.
exactly what needs to be done, so that people aren't sitting here saying, we don't know what's going on with you. We're not sure. We need some real answers.
Cool. And
Yeah.
then your plugs. How can people follow you? Is it on the Instagram?
Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. I'm the owner of the page. You know, I post a lot of videos so people get confused as to who's who. So I need to, you know, but I own the page. It's my company. You know, I founded the nonprofit. And, you know, we're going to set up some walks and do a couple different things for the next year coming up now that things have settled down.
Let us know, and we'll make sure that we post that as well. So this way
100%.
we'll come through and support.
Sounds
Once
good.
it goes through, and we'll make sure that everybody listening, if they want to come down and support, we'll give them all the right information.
Sounds good
Yeah.
to me.
But listen, for me, absolute pleasure. You're a phenomenal human being.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to have listened to your story and open my eyes. You know, I've always, like I said, for my father, my eyes were kind of open in that type of an area, but really thinking about how you got to just appreciate what you got, because a lot of people just want what
That
you have to be able
soreness,
to
that
stand.
leg soreness
to be able to
is an
stand.
important thing to have. You know, you hate leg day. You'd hate it even more if you didn't have them.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, so it's a great feeling to wake up sore. Means you did something, you worked, you'll see progress soon. You know, you can't go from A to Z in a second. You know,
That's
so
awesome.
it's important to keep trying, I think.
I love that. I really do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
love everything
thanks.
about it. It was great having you in.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. I'll come back anytime.
And
please
you're,
do.
as we say, we haven't had any bad guests, knock on wood.
That's
we,
it.
We want everybody to come back. So if you
Sounds
ever want to
good.
come back
Absolutely.
again, talk about what you're doing for next year and talk about some upcoming stuff, you know, run down the agenda. We'd love to have you.
All right. Sounds good.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
On that note, I'm going to have John kick this outro.
So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in this week's episode of The Voice.
And Rizzles joined by,
Lauren.
there we go. Peace.